And now one of the WWE's greatest wrestlers takes the microphone to give today's command. Road Loan special guest, Rick the Nature Boy Flair.
Dover, Delaware, are you ready? Woo! Then, gentlemen, start your engine.
Better way to get them fired up than Nature Boy Ric Flair giving the command, and her 43 of NASCAR's finest, getting set for 200 laps. Stop number 29 of 35 on the $50 million tour. Take a look at our starting grid. Greg Biffle, the former series champion, picks up his second pole of the year, makes his 200th career start, and beside him, Carl Edwards, the points leader, making his 100th career NASCAR Busch Series start. Now, while you look to see where your favorite driver started, let's visit with our in-race reporter. That's Jamie McMurray, driving the Dish Network Ford, who starts back in 8th spot today.
Hey, Jamie McMurray, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
Yeah, Rusty, loud and clear, you got me?
Hey, Jamie, we see a lot of the Cup drivers in the Busch race today. Why is it you guys like running the Busch Series so much?
Well, I mean, I like running the Busch cars just because I like racing, but you know, there's not a lot of setup stuff that you can apply towards the car tomorrow, but you still do learn some stuff with the tire pressure. But you know, more than anything, just because you like racing.
All right, Jim, you have a great race today. We'll talk to you later on, buddy.
10-4, thanks, R-Dub.
Calling the shots for Jamie today will be his crew chief, Chad Norris. Let's visit with Chad.
Chad Norris, Brad Daugherty, you got me?
Yes, sir, loud and clear.
Chad, we hear a lot about the right front tire being punished here. How do you balance that while also getting your race car to maximize its speed today? What do you have to do that?
Well, for one thing, you got to start out with a great driver like Jim McMurray, where he's able to carry a free car for the early run and then be able to take care of the tires all day long.
Chad, we'll be checking with you all day long. Good luck to you.
10-4, thanks.
High speeds on the high banks at Dover, Delaware. High drama and high risk, all in the NASCAR Busch Series, getting ready to crank up as they get ready to leave pit road. Welcome back to Dover, Delaware. Cars are rolling. We are getting set for NASCAR Busch Series action. Let's update you on some of the stories we'll be following throughout the afternoon. First in the pits, here's Dave Burns.
And Jerry, you already mentioned Greg Biffle's 200th career start in the Busch Series. He's already celebrated with a pole position, but on that qualifying lap just afterwards, he commented, you know, it was a little better than I thought it was going to be. In fact, I might have left a hair out there. That's driver speak for, I could have gone faster. Well, if that's the case, he might just be the hair. The guy who jumps out in front like a rabbit and stays there most of the day with a good shot at victory before this thing is over. Shannon?
Well, Dave, Matt Kenseth visited Victory Lane here in 2000, but today he's got a long way to go to get back to Victory Lane. Following final practice this weekend, the team was so unhappy with the car, they went to their teammate Carl Edwards' 60 car, took their setup, and put it on their car. They changed everything on the car, according to Drew Blickensturfer, except the paint scheme. Well, I spoke with Matt Kenseth just moments ago. He told me the car is still not good. In fact, he said this is the worst car he's had here at this track. On a positive note, he did say his Cup car is good. Matt Kenseth rolls off 33rd. Mike?
Shannon, there's plenty of reasons to consider Denny Hamlin a favorite this afternoon. After all, back in June, he finished second, and in final practice, he was the fastest on the speed chart. But to get to victory lane, he's going to need to overcome some significant adversity. Denny Hamlin battling the flu. I spoke with him moments ago. He was very lethargic and sweaty and looked a little bit pale, but he felt like he could go the distance. That's what he told his crew chief, Dave Rogers, although they do have Kyle Busch standing by just in case he cannot go the distance. Now, Denny Hamlin rolls off fourth and should be considered a favorite this afternoon if he can stay in the seat and go the distance. Jamie?
Well, Mike, you know, Carl Edwards, he's been leading these driver points for a long time in the Busch Series, but that owner points battle, it continues to heat up. Now, the 29 car, Scott Wimmer, he's back in there. They have a 40-point advantage over Carl Edwards in that Roush Fenway number 60. Scott Wimmer, he wants to get a win. It's been 50 races since he got his last win. This is a great place to do it. He's very close with this track here at Dover. He got his first ever Busch Series win back in 2002. So today the agenda, get the win, and second, extend that series points lead in the owner points. Doc?
Thanks, guys. Great stories. We'll be riding along with the 8 high-definition onboard cameras. David Reagan starts 17th at Discount Tires Ford. Mike Wallace 32nd, the Geico Chevy. Greg Biffle on the pole, the 3M Ford. Brad Coleman 12th, the Carino's Italian Grill Chevrolet. Richard Johns back in 36th, the FreeCreditReport.com Ford. Already heard from Jamie McMurray, who starts 8th in his Dish Network Ford. Scott Wimmer starts 19th in the Holiday Inn Chevrolet. And David Rudeman 10th in the Aaron's Dream Machine Toyota. Cars behind the pace car. It is a 200 lap event here, 200 miles on the 1 mile high banked Monster Mile at Dover, Delaware. Pit road speed will be 35 miles per hour. The pace car will run 45. The pit window right at 100 laps. So they can almost go halfway. 24-degree banking in the turns, 9 degrees in the straightaway. It's all about surviving the Monster Mile here at Dover. Couple of veterans, former Busch champion Greg Biffle, hopeful 2007 Busch champion, current points leader Carl Edwards leading him down 43 strong at a turn 4 as they head to the green flag at Dover, Delaware.
And Biffle gets a monster jump right there. Getting that clean air, getting into turn 1 is one of the most important things here at Dover. Great job on him coming to the gearbox.
Keeping an eye as you see Biffle now pulling away by 5 Carlings. Keeping an eye back there. There's Blaney on the inside and an ailing Denny Hamlin trying to hold on the position.
Yeah, he's really doing a good job. He got up on the wheel right on the start and he went up and bumped the guy in front. He's really pushing the car hard. But if you noticed him in practice yesterday, I did, how these cars bounce around so much, Rusty. And these guys are now in almost in a controlled wreck out on the racetrack all the way around this place because of the transitions through the corner.
Well, they really are, Brad. But take a look at the 20 car of Denny Hamlin. Here's a guy feeling sick, not feeling good. And once he lit that thing up, I'll guarantee the way he felt went right away, went right back to driving that car.
Over the years, I've seen drivers who were ailing get in a car and drive their best race ever because they're just trying to focus and concentrate because they don't feel well.
You know, Doc, that happens in every sport. You'll see a guy in baseball, basketball, and football who has the flu. Michael Jordan comes to mind. They'll have great games simply because they're able to focus in on what they're doing at the moment, and they forget about how sick they are for the moment.
Now, guys, these fellas practiced all day yesterday. Had a lot of good practice sessions going on. But earlier today, about 1 o'clock, we had a lot of rain here, so it washed a lot of rubber off the track. Now, the Cup cars got the practice, so it's not exactly like it was, though.
Dave Blaney trying to make a move underneath the 60 car of Edwards and take Leffler. It's a Toyota parade there as they battle for the 3rd position.
Well, Blaney never surprises me, guys. He's always up there in this number 10 car. You got Leffler, his teammate, right behind him. But take a look at the lead change here. Denny Hamlin working over Greg Biffle on the bottom.
Both of these guys obviously were extremely fast yesterday, and Denny Hamlin's showing a lot of intestinal fortitude. Guy feels awful, but he's driving the wheels off that race car right now.
What'd you say about Michael Jordan? Denny Hamlin's on a fast break right now. He's headed to the front here.
Michael Jordan scored 69 against us one night with the flu, so Denny Hamlin says he can go out.
Were you guarding him that night?
No, I had nothing to do with that.
Okay,
Doc.
I got you.
Right now, he's got a good handling car, guys. He's early in the run right now. He's took the lead. He doesn't feel bad like you said. No, big wreck.
And leading Rookie of the Year contender on another car sliding backwards. A 54 car has slid by.
Carl Long, it looks like, got a little sideways there and got it mixed up with David Reagan. Tough break for both of those guys. Both, trying to get some positionings and run well. This track just eats you up, though. When one car gets loose, Rusty, it seems like it takes multiple cars with it.
Well, it's like bowling a strike, man. Once you roll that bowl down there, it takes them all out. And it's the same thing here at Dover. This is a high bank track. And, Brad, generally, when you wreck, you go to the bottom of the track. But getting back to what I said earlier about the track being green, they had a lot of rain here. And this track is not exactly like these guys ended practice.
Watch the top of the screen here. Watch what happens with the 6 car.
Boy, just what Rusty's talking about. David Reagan goes in the corner. Green racetrack, not a lot of grip, and that car just slides right out from underneath him. That was a great point that Rusty made. Absolutely what happened.
See, there's nobody around him right now, and when you just not enough rubber on the track right now, the tire pressure's not built up. This happened at lap 5, so really early for this to happen.
Tough break for Stanton Baird, who had a great qualifying run in the top 15 in the 30 car. Big news for Stanton with regard to remainder of 2007 and 08. We'll share with you a little later on, but let's show you again onboard camera with David Reagan entering the corner.
I'll tell you what, he didn't even touch the apron, though. I was waiting to see if he got down on the apron and made the car loose, but it wasn't that.
There, guys.
He just flat spun it out.
You know, Rusty, you talk about this racetrack, and last time we came by here, it was really a green racetrack with a hard tire. Now it's a super green with all the rubber washed off. These guys are going to have a tough day today.
Under caution for the first time today, coming out on lap number 6 for car number 6. Leading Rebestos Rookie of the Year contender David Reagan has a damaged Ford Fusion. There's the contact. Also, the 30 car just got in the front. Back with the green flag at Dover in a moment. We welcome you back to the RoadLoans.com 200 NASCAR Busch Series event in Dover, Delaware. Just finishing caution number 1, which came out on lap number 6 for a contact with David Reagan in the wall. And Denny Hamlin is the leader. Shuffles all throughout the pack, including, whoa, the 5 car. And contact with the 18 of Brad Coleman.
Yeah, it just looks like that. He just got clipped right in the right rear quarter panel, sent him head on in the wall with Brad Coleman, and that's a tough deal, man, right off the bat.
Hold your brakes.
Once again, we're talking about this self-cleaning racetrack. You see Brad Coleman get turned. Incident happens aboard in front of everyone. And they take 2 or 3 guys with them, Brent Sherman and Matt Kenseth as well.
A couple of young drivers. You were talking about the young up-and-coming young stars. We saw 5 Landon Castle in the 5 car. He's 18 years of age. Brad Coleman is 19. There's what's left of his Joe Gibbs Racing Chevy.
Spent a large part of yesterday with Brad Coleman and his dad just talking about his future. And you know, they're really excited about this race. And as I mentioned earlier, Brad's had the high, you know, he's run 14 races and he's had the highest finish of any non-cup driver, you know, and average. So he's done a great job, and you know, they're looking towards next year, but a tough day today.
Brent Sherman, the 36 car, the word is that he will be out of this car after next week at Kansas City, and they will put somebody else in the car for the final 5 events. So he really wanted to showcase his skills here, and this incident here is going to create a bit of a problem.
You take a look at him getting off the corner here, exiting turn 4. Landon Castle pumps off the wall and gets into the right front fender of Brad Coleman. Brad just can't hold it and gets up in the wall. And that was just a situation where when Landon got close to the wall, he kind of pulled it down away from the wall to not hit it. And Brad Coleman was there and took them both out.
Well, interesting, Rusty. I mean, if you watch this, you notice one thing is the youth. You got 2 really young guys in here, and Landon goes in and obviously makes a mistake, and he takes out another young guy. Is it just inexperience all around that created this situation, Rusty?
Well, I think right now he probably had an ill-handling car. Landon Castle got up and got in the wall actually a little bit and bounced down into Brad Coleman. So I think that Landon didn't anticipate the car was going to get out of the racetrack like that.
Now from Brad Coleman's onboard camera, take a look.
Hold your line.
See, Landon just bounces into him like that. Brad had nowhere to go. Just a sit and duck at that point right there.
Just one of those racing deals, as they say.
Watch a job that Scott Wimmer does in the 29 car. Remember, this is the car that's leading the owner's point standings for Richard Childress Racing.
Well, that's experience. That's experience. Great reactions on that. Had some idea of what was going to happen. Had a picture in his mind, it looks like, Rusty, and then just executed.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's thinking about this driver owner's championship, too. That's really important for Richard Childress. But took out a lot of good cars. Take a look at the 9 car at Chase Miller. He's got a lot of left front damage. Matt Kenseth's got a little bit of damage. Landon Castle right there working on his car. Hey, this is a big melee right here off of turn 4.
Some of the young drivers involved, including the veterans like Brent Sherman, having to go back to make repairs here under caution at number 2. Back at Dover International Speedway, the Monster Mile, caution number 2 just concluding. Cars coming down to take the green flag. Denny Hamlin, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, Dave Blaney, and Jason Leffler the top 5.
Right now, these guys just need to let these tire temperatures come in and let the pressures build up, because early in the going here, you saw a lot of accidents. That's just because of some inexperience. Some tires just aren't hooked up right now, guys.
Yeah, we mentioned that, Rusty. I was asking you earlier, what do these young guys have to do to complete a lap? Just like you said, let those tire pressures come up. You got a green racetrack, hard race tire, no grip, even less grip because of the rubber being washed off. You got to be patient. But patience and youth don't go together real well.
Yeah, the monster will bite you in a hurry. In fact, one of the drivers bitten by the monster, one of the youngsters standing by with Jamie Little.
And it was his first start here at the mile. So, Brad, what happened with you and Landon Castle?
I was going through turn 3 and 4. We had cars on the outside of us, got a little loose, so fast, and he just bounced off the wall, bounced right into my nose, and I did a little fishtail down the straightaway, tried to save it, but that definitely wasn't the softest hit I've ever had in this Carino's Italian Grill Chevrolet. We had a great race car. We work all weekend to get it good, and something like that happens. Oh well.
He'll be back in the car for 2 more races, guys. We're getting report that 90 may be having some engine problems, as you can see it right there.
90 car of Stephen Light, a plume of smoke from the back of the car. We do not have a yellow flag. He's gotten the car down out of the groove.
Hey
onto
guys,
the apron.
it's internal.
And he said that's an internal problem. We got oil coming out of the back of the car. And guys, that was a big blow up right there. Something unloaded huge in that car. Broken connecting rods, something like that. We haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, I spent some time with Stephen Light's crew yesterday down there, just looking at the race car, talking about practice and whatnot. And they were real excited about today. Just had a bad luck.
26, our in-race reporter, Jamie McMurray, has had some contact. Look at the damage on the right side.
Guys, I'm really surprised of all these accidents early in this race. I mean, the track's in pretty good condition, but maybe these guys just get pretty aggressive.
Could that have possibly been some fluid out of the 90 car?
Oh, well, I tore it pretty good, Chad. Probably have to go, I don't know.
The 90 car, again, Stephen Light having an engine erupt. Now watch it from Mike Wallace's onboard camera.
Now, that could be putting oil down the racetrack, guys. Now, as he's exiting turn 2, that's where all the oil would be down on the racetrack. And Jamie just gets loose. It could have happened. So that happened off of turn 2. That accident did. So we'll have to go back and take a look at that.
Well, the way that car reacted, I mean, that was a 4-wheel drift, Rusty, just like it got into some fluids, and it just sent the race car right up the track. It's not like it hooked or did anything like that.
There's the fluid leaking from beneath the rear of the 90 car, the Robert Yates car for Stephen Light. So obviously, when it was a big-time engine explosion on that car, which has brought out caution for the 3rd time today as a result of the contact with a 26 car of Jamie McMurray. Back with more from Dover in a moment. Welcome back to Dover, Delaware, under caution for the 3rd time today, coming out on lap 19. An engine erupting on the 90 car of Stephen Light. There's Stephen Light's car, the Kentucky winner. Now the cars behind him, including the 25 car of Richard Johns. Watch Richard Johns' windshield here with the onboard camera.
Yeah, there's that 90 car is definitely shooting a lot of oil out of it. As Richard John comes off the corner, take a look at the onboard camera, just fills up with oil all over the screen right there. So, guys, this is a tough call for NASCAR. They thought that maybe the track was clear, but it was throwing a lot of oil out of it.
Yeah, Rusty, and the ideal situation obviously would be to get the car down onto the apron, but sometimes as a driver, you blow the motor, and Stephen Light probably had no clue that he was in the middle of the racetrack at the point in time.
Yeah, that's true, because the 26 car, Jamie McMurray, I mean, he's a lot better driver than that, and he was just slipping and sliding all over the place in the middle of that corner.
And all 4 wheels let go.
McMurray, a veteran competitor, one of the NASCAR Nextel Cup regulars. There are 13 drivers doing double duty, running here on Saturday, running in Sunday's NASCAR Nextel Cup Series event. Our coverage Sunday begins, by the way, 1 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Under caution here for the 3rd time a day. Back with a restart at Dover in a moment. Back at Dover, still under yellow. Let's check into the garage area where Jamie Little is caught up with Jamie McMurray.
And he was our in-race reporter. He didn't get to report, so I'll ask for your assessment now. Jamie, what happened? We know that the 90 blew up. There was oil on the track. Did you see it?
I mean, I didn't see it. My spotter came on a lap or 2 before and said, make sure you don't run high in turns 1 and 2. And the 99 got underneath me, and I had to let him go. So I just was kind of letting him go on the inside. And when I got to the gas, I just got loose and spun out. I really thought he hit me. I'm like, he had to have gotten into me, guys. And they're like, no. And then now looking back, maybe some oil. I don't know. You never want to think it's your fault. So maybe I should just go with the oil.
All right, he's going to go with oil. Chad Norris upset, though, his crew chief. Guys wondering why the caution didn't come out when the 90 blew.
Tough break for Jamie McMurray, but he has another shot here tomorrow. Of course, the action heats up here for NASCAR. The NASCAR Cup Series takes on the Monster Mile. Last year, Jeff Burton broke a 175-race winless streak and took over the championship chase lead. In fact, the championship chase lead has changed in the last 3 fall Dover events. Could it change here tomorrow? Our live coverage begins on ABC at 1 o'clock Eastern time.
Doc, I hope we can get guys up to speed a little quicker tomorrow than we are today. We're having a tough time here.
An ailing Denny Hamlin, if you just joined our coverage, he is the leader. Hamlin had IV fluids being given to him in the infield care center just before he climbed in the car. Possible Kyle Busch may stand by if Hamlin gets the feeling poorly. Right now, he's got to be feeling pretty good, Rusty. He's the lead dog in this pack.
Oh, man, whenever you're in the front of the field leading and running as fast as Denny is, the last thing you want to do is get out of the car. And I'll guarantee you, Jerry, just smelling that fumes from that race car keeps you in there.
You know, I spent some time talking to Greg Biffle yesterday, guys, and we were talking about his season and, you know, the season that could have been. And he said he wants to come out there and really run well, not only tomorrow, but in this Busch race. He has a lot to prove, and he wants to get some wins on the board before the season's over.
See Robbie Gordon there getting pretty racy in a 27 car, made a dive to the bottom. Now Brad Keselowski, his car looking good, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. owned car.
Keselowski in the 88 car, Mike Bliss in the 22, the Dodge. The damaged 29 car, Scott Wimmer involved in a near miss on lap 10 with Brad Coleman. This is the car, by the way, that leads the owner's point standings by 40 points for Richard Childress over the Roush Fenway car of Carl Edwards.
Well, the car's got a little damage on top of the left front fender, but I don't think aerodynamically it's going to hurt it at all. And he just made a pass on his teammate right there, Tim McCready. No damage right there. The fender's out, got good downforce. He's okay.
Scott Wimmer attempted to qualify for the Nextel Cup race tomorrow. Did not get that car in. He said they'll get another Nextel Cup shot at possibly at Charlotte and Atlanta. We told you the story developed about a half an hour before the green flag with Denny Hamlin not feeling well. He had gone to the infield care center for fluids. Kyle Busch, who will drive for Joe Gibbs Racing as a teammate for Denny Hamlin in 2008, was summoned to the car. To get in the car, he is standing by there in Denny Hamlin's pits.
See the number 60 car, Carl Edwards, who we call Concrete Carl. He's had some wins this year on the concrete surfaces. Starting to make a move. He's starting to march towards the front. He's gotten past Greg Biffle, moved into second place. Carl's on the hunt.
Well, you never count out Carl Edwards, that's for sure. Even though you got Biffle out there and you got Martin Truex, guys like that. A lot of competition in today's race today.
Look behind Carl and behind Biffle. There's the 38 of Jason Leffler. This is the car that Leffler dominated, led the most laps with at Bristol just a few weeks ago in the night race. He said this car is so good on concrete.
He absolutely loves this race car, and this Braun entry has been strong since qualifying. Jason Leffler is absolutely up on the wheel. He's doing a great job. Just got past Dave Blaney, who's been one of the quicker cars in the field thus far this day. So Jason Leffler's on the move.
Well, I tell you who's really good right here is Martin Truex. As we're watching him go to the bottom of the racetrack and around Blaney. And this is where the guys get themselves in trouble. Exiting the corners, Brad, right up off there. They get very loose, but these veterans know how to handle it.
Well, Rusty, I was talking to these guys, and as well as you, when you drive off into turn one, it's almost like you fall off a hill. You drive down that corner, and a lot of guys say that when you get into two, there's a lot of gain of track. So explain that to me. What exactly does that mean?
Well, driving off down in turn one, now look, he's going into three, just diving to the bottom of the track. There's no track on the NASCAR circuit that's designed like this. A lot of guys have problem with the entry of one because you run downhill with such speed. You see Truex right to the bottom.
More on Martin Truex, Mike.
Well, Doc, Martin Truex Jr. pulled a rabbit out of his hat, so to speak, in qualifying seventh. Spoke with him just before he climbed in the car today. He said he was real surprised because during practice they only turned one lap in qualifying trim. Now, obviously, this is a pretty big weekend for Martin Truex Jr. Grew up not too far away in Marietta, New Jersey, and believe it or not, he and his father, they pitched in and bought 140 tickets for this event for some close friends and family to watch here today.
Well, this has got to be Martin's favorite racetrack. I mean, guys, he just loves this place. He's won this year in the car tomorrow. Now he's running great in this race today. Take a look at the 22 of Bliss. Man, he has just been strong in his 22 car.
Battle for 13th position. Mike Bliss, we are told, will be in this car for the remainder of the year. Dave?
Well, he looks fast right now, but he lost a lot of positions on that initial run. Air pressure is very low. Car hitting track, unnerving to the driver, and not a fast setup. Crew Chief Paul Wolf telling Mike the tire pressures will come up with temperature, and that will improve your race car. And now he's starting to move back toward the front.
You know, Doc, I raced against Mike Bliss as an owner back in the Truck Series back in the mid-90s, and I spent some time with Mike talking to him. And he said, you know, Brad, he says, everyone's going towards the young guys, the youth movement. I can still drive the heck out of one of these race cars.
Old 21 car spinning around another one of the youngsters.
Good job. Let off the brake. Let off the brake. Go. Good job. Good job.
Tim McCready, but they will bring the yellow flag out because he gets spun around.
He just run up underneath you, took the air off of you outside.
Too much oncoming traffic, so that will bring out the 4th yellow of the day.
Well, there's been enough laps run right now that the guys aren't handling well. They're going to probably make some pit stops because I see some of the guys in the back really slowing down and having problems with handling. It's a pretty good time right now, lap 39, to get in the pits and fix it if you got a problem.
Yeah, Rusty. And Tim McCready yesterday, I was talking to him about his entry into this race. And he just said, you know, Clint Boyer drives this race car and Kevin Harvick drives this race car. I'm not these two guys. I can't start the car where they do. I don't like a loose race car.
You take a look at this. Kelly Byers gets up behind McCready, and I don't believe there was any contact there. It looks like he just got an arrow loose, and that's the most critical part of the corner. When you come off the turn and you got a guy packed behind you, makes you very loose.
Well, I find it interesting that he spun out simply because what he told me yesterday. He says, I just can't start the car as loose as Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer. I don't like that feeling, Brad, even though I'm a dirt driver. And there you see him get loose. So he wanted that race car a little tighter than probably it is, and he knew what he had.
Yeah, there was no contact at all. Good call, Rusty, between Byers behind him, the youngster driving the 47 car. Shannon.
Well, Jason Leffler's happy to be back at the short track. A lot of success on these short tracks this season. Right now, he says the car is great. It has come to him. Started off a little tight, but it has come to him. So no changes, 4 tires and fuel. Mike?
And Martin Truex Jr.'s only complaint with his car is a little bit tight in the middle. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment on 3 of the 4 tires. No chassis adjustments expected. 4-tire change on the 8 car. Dave?
Denny Hamlin leads the parade down pit road. He will stay in the car right now, although they did discuss putting Kyle Busch in it. There's going to be a track bar and air pressure adjustment. The car is tight when he's on the throttle, but obviously very quick. He will try to leave pit road as the leader now. Try to pass the 60 and the 16. It's going to be close.
Race off of pit road. Denny Hamlin doesn't lose a spot. Greg Biffle gains 1. How about Scott Wimmer and the 29 crew? The pit crew sort of let Wimmer down here back in the spring. They made a change in the middle of the race. He still got a 3rd place finish, but 15 spots for Scott Wimmer in that 29 car.
Well, we got to check on that because I don't think you can pick up that many spots and put 4 tires on. So 2 tires was probably the call on that one.
I wonder if he just drove right on through.
I think he just kept on getting it, waved at the fellas and said, I'm checking out, boys.
99 Jackman Mitch Lash out of Salisbury, North Carolina. Watch the work here on David Rudiman's car. Watch the Jackman, how hard these guys work.
I'll tell you, these guys are tremendous athletes. I'm always impressed as I walk through the pit row area to see these cats in great physical condition. They get after it on these pit crew stops, and they need more recognition. They work their tails off at being the best, each one of them.
All the 99 cars pissed up, and now we are being told fuel only for the 29 car, no tires at all, and that will explain why Scott Wimmer is able to gain 15 spots.
Absolutely. Track position is so important, especially, Rusty, doesn't it? It seems with all the cautions thus far, this early in the race, when you want to be trying to get as far ahead and get as much track position as possible.
Well, you knew it had to be something. It had to be 2 tires or just fuel or something, because when you pick up 15 spots, that's huge. But, boy, not putting any tires on, that's a lot of laps on the tires.
Caution number 4 today, coming out on lap 39. We told you Denny Hamlin was not feeling well, and they've opted to leave him in the car. Let's listen into some radio communications in the Hamlin pits.
How's my driver hanging in there? I don't want to remind you all night, but I got to ask you right now, how you doing? I'm okay right now. Looks pretty good out front.
Biffle's spotter just came down and said he may run into you under caution, so that's the only time he can get close to you.
He already did.
You know what, Doc and Rusty, I bet he does feel pretty good. That old race car is hauling the heat. He is really fast. Now, if that thing starts to drop back, Rusty, if you think he gets back in the 20s, you think he'll want to get out of that race car?
No, he'll never get out of it. He needs to go ahead and just sweat it out and drive that. He'll make him look tough that way.
Absolutely.
He is driving that race car, and the green flag waves again. Hamlin goes down beneath the 54 of Carl Long.
Now I want to see how the 29 car is going to do with no tires against these fellows who put 4 on. Should be a big difference.
We are told that 16 car of Greg Biffle was sent to the back of the field because of a pit box violation. That's going to hurt considering how important track position is here at Dover, Delaware.
Absolutely. And then, you know, to finish what we were talking about earlier before the caution, Mike Bliss, who's out front here, I was talking to him, and Mike said, Brad, I'm not an old guy. I'm seasoned, but I still can drive the heck out of one of these race cars. And I just want an opportunity to sit in one of these cars full time and get a full season in and show what I can do. And Mike Bliss is a heck of a race car
Check that, by the way, on Biffle. That was a tire violation in the pits, and not the car out of the pit box. It's a tire violation. That's why he went to the back of the pack on the longest line.
Well, you see Matt Kenseth in the 17 car right behind Denny Hamlin. They're playing a little strategy. He didn't pit that last time and put tires on. They're probably going to be a little slower, but look at Martin Truex in 8, just getting ready to overhaul Scott Wimmer with those 4 fresh tires right now.
You heard Mike Massaro tell you earlier that Truex is from Mayetta, New Jersey. That's 121 miles from this racetrack. He got a dream come true. First ever Cup win here back in the spring. He's won here twice in a NASCAR Busch car, and they turned back the clock where they put his dad's seafood company sponsorship on the car like he used to drive in the early days when he came to Dover as a fledgling stock car driver.
But guys, this is his home track. I mean, he loves coming here, Truex does, and gotta feel like he can win this race because of his dad's sponsor in the car. He's driving the 8 car. A lot of cool things happening.
What a dream come true for Martin Truex, and he just said simply, he feels like everyone else hates this racetrack, and he loves it.
Denny Hamlin working the top side of the track right now, running down Bliss. Quite a bit quicker, too, guys. About a 1/10 of a second faster Hamlin was that last time by. And by the time this race is over, you're going to see the black on this track worked all the way up against the wall as these cars run farther and farther into the day. Put more rubber down in this concrete racetrack.
Mike Bliss trying to run the bottom groove. Hamlin up very, very high.
And Jerry, if you can get in the bottom and get to the top of the racetrack and keep that momentum built up with these little engines, not near as much horsepower, Brad, and these cars as a next to Cup cars, builds momentum, lets you pass harder and easier off the corners.
Well, Rusty, this track is known as being very, very difficult and hard to drive. But let me ask you a question. As the tires start to wear and the rubber starts to get on the track, can you tell the difference? Can you feel the grip? Oh, accident.
Trouble of the 0-1 car. That's another youngster, 18-year-old Danny Eflin, has come into contact with the concrete here at Dover, and it will bring out the 5th yellow flag of the afternoon.
Danny come off the corner hard. That shocked me there. I was looking right at the corner as I was talking. And I saw Danny dart out and hit the corner pretty hard there.
You know, back to your question before the wreck happened, Brad. Yeah. You know, they're going to put a lot of rubber down on the track. The cars are going to have more grip. They're going to handle better, but probably they're going to get tighter, start losing the front ends more.
Okay.
And the guys that keep adjusting the cars. Let's take a look at this replay.
Danny Eflin, the 18-year-old, driving the 0-1 for Johnny Davis Motorsports up across the racetrack. Hard hit for Eflin.
Now, Rusty, was that a tire going down? It looked like that car just went straight up the racetrack. No turn, no chance, no opportunity.
Well, it looked like he lost a tire on that one, but he had another car packed right on his bumper going at the corner. And that could have been anything. I don't see any damage on the back of the car, so it doesn't look like he got tapped. We'll take another look.
Lucky Dog happens to be his teammate, Eric McClure. The Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass winner. He's the first car on lap down. He will get to go back around and get back on the lead lap. 33 cars being shown on the lead lap. The top 5 at 49 of 200 laps. Martin Truex Jr., Bobby Hamilton Jr., Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, and Mike Bliss. Denny Hamlin trying to get a win here at Dover despite the fact he's a little bit ailing inside his Chevy.
Back at Dover International Speedway, just past 1/4 distance in this afternoon's NASCAR Busch Series 200-miler. Talked about Greg Biffle getting a penalty and dropping all the way back to 33rd spot on the restart. Here's what happens. Watch Biffle on the last set of pit stops. The first car in your frame, when he pulls away, watch what's in front of Carl Edwards, the guy trying to get out of his box behind him. That's Biffle's right rear tire, and if you don't have that in the inner half of that pit box, that is a penalty. Here's a look from the Edwards crew cam. Drop the jack and whoop, wait a minute, can't go any place around that. There we go, thank you very much. So that is why Greg Biffle is no longer up front. Driver who started on pole, now back in 23rd place as we close in on this restart.
Thanks, Helen. And the NHRA, by the way, has moved into Texas, and the big question is who can move into the top 4 as the championship drama heats up. The O'Reilly Fall Nationals qualifying coverage begins on ESPN2 tonight, 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time, with finals coverage Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. More on Mike Bliss, our leader. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Just leading the way, but I'm right. Hey, guys. Hey, I want to talk about Mike Bliss. Yeah, Mike Bliss is leading now. He stayed out mainly because they wanted to see what that car would do in clean air. Talked to crew chief Paul Wolf during this caution period, and Paul told me, you know, during practice we found that our car was just as fast when the tires had 70 or so laps on them. So we didn't fear staying out and having these tires be old. We knew that we wanted to see what it would do in clean air. Now it's just a little bit too loose for Mike, but it's very fast, and they hope the pit stops cycle around so the next time they want to come in, everyone else wants to come in also.
47 car, by the way, Kelly Byers. There's Kelly. He took over back in the spring for John Wood, who was ailing. And the good news is that John Wood is going to be back next week. He will be in a Cup car, the 21 car for the Wood Brothers JTG Racing. And that Bill Elliott, by the way, will be in a second Wood Brothers car. And in 2008, we are being told today that John Wood will share that car with Marcus Ambrose and a driver to be named. They will split the number 21 car, some in 2008. So Kelly Byers doing such a good job in the Busch car now that John Wood can move on into the next car, NASCAR Next L Cup Series.
Kelly's done a great job this season, young man out of Wisconsin. You know, he has 2 national karting championships under his belt and run the truck series a lot. And he's come in and done an admirable job. He's another one of those young guns that has a lot of potential, just needs a great opportunity, and the Wood Brothers have provided that for him this season.
Getting set for the green flag, Mike Bliss making his 18th start of the year, coming off his best finish of the year, was 5th at Richmond just a couple of weeks ago, trying to hold off the likes of Denny Hamlin and Matt Kenseth.
And Hamlin, he just jumped it outside in that restart, got in that clean air with those fresher tires, and he is gone. Later. That's the way you got to do it, guys. And it'll start grabbing when you can get it. Get it done then. Take a look at Kenseth. He's still got a little bit of damage on the right rear quarter panel from that earlier accident. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down much, but he's out there on the older tires. He's still out there since the beginning of the race, working on that damage. And the guys leading the race, Hamlin. Martin Truex passing him right now. Got 4 fresh tires in the car.
Well, you know, you see with Matt Kenseth there, Rusty, we see this week in and week out in the Busch Series, when the Cup guys come down to participate, they are the superior drivers. It's not just the equipment. These guys are the best race car drivers in the world, and they can take mediocre race cars and go out and run at the highest level during these races. It's really a treat to watch them race.
Watch what happened on lap 10. This multi-car crashed to the 9 car of Chase Miller right into the back of the 17.
Yeah, the 17 car, Matt Kenseth, was slowing down, and Chase Miller just didn't see him slowing down that quick. Couldn't slow down and barreled him right in the back of the car. And I'm surprised that car didn't get more damage than what it's got right now, because that was a hard hit, guys.
Well, it's just another typical rookie mistake.
Trouble again at Dover. The 33 car, Tony Raines, has had contact. He comes down across the racetrack. Heavy right side damage.
And that is some serious.
He did that on purpose. He did that on purpose. Tony, you all right? Yeah, I'm fine.
Sounds like there was some contact between Tony and one of the competitors.
Yeah, when he says one of the crew guys, so the spotter said he did it on purpose.
I'll take a hard look at that and see what happens.
That's tough crash.
Well, look at that race car, Rusty. I mean, that thing's junk.
That car is absolutely
ruined.
ruined.
Go to the garage.
We talked about high banks, high speeds, and hard hits at Dover. We're going to see one here in the 33 car.
Oh, man.
See Robbie Gordon.
Oh, man.
He got into the 33 car. You know, he says he did it on purpose. I really don't believe that, guys. That was a racing accident coming off of turn 4. And those corners, I mean, it's tight quarters going in the start-finish line. When you come off at turn 4, you get that loose. But look at that hit. Thank gosh for the soft wall.
Absolutely. And you really hate to see anyone get clipped in that right rear in a race car, Rusty. That is going to be a dangerous impact. And I don't think Tony's very happy.
Tony is not happy out of the car, standing there on the edge of the racetrack. The car, you see it simmering and smoking. He's going to have a little discussion here, watching for the 27 car of Robbie Gordon to come by.
Well, don't throw that helmet. That thing cost about $2,500. Don't do that. Oh, man, you don't do that. You don't do that. A lot of money in the helmet. Frustrations, I know, but go kick the high side of your house or something. Don't throw your helmet, man.
Well, then you
might
break your foot. Then what do? You can't match the gas if you break your foot.
And you know what? He might not have done that if his spotter wouldn't have said that he did it on purpose.
Probably just pushed him right on over the edge. You've already been in a bad wreck. You're going to be out of the race, and you wasted a great race car.
Tony Raines was basically told 3 weeks ago that he would not be back in the Cup car, the 96 Cup car for 2008, trying to be able to showcase his skills to get a ride full-time for next year.
And you're exactly right, Doc. I spoke to Tony about his situation, and he said there's some things in the works. He's had a great opportunity to run this race car this year, and he's had a lot of fun doing it. The DLP folks have been great. You know, it's just been a great experience, but he's looking to move on with a little bit better opportunity with a multi-car team.
Well, making things rougher, he threw the helmet, missed the car, and hit the concrete. That makes it really bad, but...
Tony was running in the 10th position when this contact occurred. There's Robbie Gordon driving for Bruco, his first ever drive for Bruco Motorsports, and you see the damage on the 27 car's fender, and then the heavy damage on the right side of the 33. Here's the contact once again, top of your screen. Contact there, the 33 up across and down, then almost head on to the outside concrete to bring out caution number 6. We welcome you back to the roadloans.com 200 NASCAR Busch Series event here in Dover, Delaware. Under caution for the 6th time today, coming out on lap 57. Contact between Robbie Gordon and Tony Raines. And Tony Raines, car number 33, across the racetrack, heavy contact into the turn 1 wall.
You see him exit in turn 2 there. Robbie Gordon, a car on the outside coming down, but it looked like Robbie Gordon was trying to hold the 41 car that was behind him back.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Looks like he and Reed Sorensen were racing really hard, and I think he thought that Tony Raines was not even a factor there. He may not have even seen him. It looks like he looked up in the mirror, Rusty, and just came across him.
And you know the tough thing about that, guys, I don't think that would have happened, and it wouldn't have got so infuriated if the spotter wouldn't have come across and said he did that on purpose.
Let's listen to Robbie Gordon's radio.
$25,000. He had no business messing with us anyway. We were driving away from him.
And Robbie says it was $25,000 because he knows. He's done that in his life before, and he knows, hey, you learn from those big mistakes. You don't throw your helmet. That makes NASCAR mad, and it makes your helmet mad, too.
Well, actually, it's $28,000. That's a $3,000 helmet, correct?
Hey, man, I forgot about that.
Hey,
You're
man,
right.
I'm doing the math on this now.
And Robbie had some issues at Montreal, so he can't afford to get into trouble here in the NASCAR Busch Series. Remember the road course race at Montreal back in June and July, I should say. So he's just trying to, he can't afford to do anything and get run afoul. Driving the 27 car. By the way, the 27 car he's driving, this team was sold this week. Majority ownership of Bruco. Longtime Busch Series owners, Clarence and Tammy Brewer, now selling the team to Gary Baker, former owner at Bristol Motor Speedway. Gary's going to move the operation, we're told, to Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, Gary's something else. He was an owner of a couple different racetracks that I raced on a long time ago, and guy's an incredible owner. I wish him well with the ownership role. It's a tough one, Brad. You know that.
Absolutely. Wish him the best, and looks like he's going to field a couple of pretty solid race teams. So our luck be with him.
At least the good news for Gary was that Kimberly-Clark, their sponsors, announced this week that they've re-upped for 2 more years. So that's good news on the side of the car. Aaron's lucky dog is the 28 car. Robert Richardson Jr., the former SMU quarterback, will get the free pass. He'll be able to go back around the pace car and put us now with 32 cars on the lead lap as we get set for the green flag when we come back. Back at Dover, still under caution here. Let's check in the garage area where Jamie Little is caught up with Tony Raines.
Well, first thing, Doc, he checked out okay. That was a hard hit, but he's all right. Tony, why throw the helmet there? What happened?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. You know, I would thank Road Loans for sponsoring the race and sponsoring my cars. Unfortunately, they can't keep idiots like Robbie Gordon from driving race cars. And I think the film shows the truth.
Did you know what happened right away before your spotter told you it was Robbie?
I don't know what his problem is. He doesn't even know what his problem is.
Guys.
A lot of frustration for Tony Raines, not only his sponsor on the car, but the sponsor of the race. They wanted to have a good run for lots of reasons. Back under green, Denny Hamlin, our leader. Mike Bliss, good job in the 2nd position for the Dodge. Martin Truex is 3rd, and Carl Edwards 4th.
We've had really so many cautions right off the bat at the beginning of this race. Nobody can really settle in and find out what they need with their car.
Yeah,
Denny Hamlin's been nailed, though, all day long.
Denny Hamlin's been checking out, but like you're exactly right. That's I was thinking. There's no rhythm to this race thus far, simply because of all the cautions and the abrupt stops in the action. And, you know, so many cautions so early. I hope we can get a little room to breathe and guys can go racing.
32 cars on the lead lap. As we still are just 68 laps into 200, we have already had 6 different caution flags today for 30 laps, so we've only had 38 laps of green flag racing.
Good to see that number 35 car, Bobby Hamilton Jr., making his way up into 6th position in the Renzi-owned machine.
66 cars been on pit road making some chassis adjustments. They had the left rear tire pull off, putting spring rubbers in, trying to get the car handling better.
Doing good, Steve. Don't get mad. Everything's doing good.
16 car of Greg Biffle. We had the issue on pit road with the tire out of the pit box. He had to go back to 33rd, and now as he works by Stephen Wallace, Biffle being shown moving his way all the way up into the 14th position.
That was a good job by the spotter, Kenny Wallace, telling Stephen, hey, don't get mad, stay calm, because they've been working on the car. They're lapped down, but they're the first guy to get the lucky dog in case a caution does come out.
7th position, 38 car of Leffler going by Scott Wimmer to take it away. Toyota is Leffler, Chevy for Wimmer.
And you got to hand it this 38 team, this Braun team. That Toyota of Leffler's has been one of the strongest cars all year long. Him and his teammate, the 10 car of Dave Blaney, very strong in the Toyota camp.
And the same can be said for Scott Wimmer. Every time he's gotten into this 29 car, he's been close all year long to getting that victory. And I know his teammates have been riding in some, so this could be a great opportunity for him to stretch those legs and get that victory.
Speaking of stout Toyotas, how about David Rudeman in the 99 car trying to move in on Wimmer's 29? More on Wimmer, Dave.
And that car now, he's getting past Doc, and it's not so much from the damage. They feel like they've got that under control. But the last change they made for Scott Wimmer's car, which was a wedge adjustment, he made the right front bouncy. And remember, they didn't take tires. Now, there wasn't a lot of laps on those tires, but they didn't take any last time, so they're down on tires, and they made an adjustment the car doesn't like right now.
Scott Wimmer, remember, gained those 15 spots on pit road, but no tires, only fuel only after he'd made that pit stop on lap 10. So he's obviously dealing with a lot more worn tires than some of the others. Here comes the 27 car of Robbie Gordon to try to take that position away. That would be 9th spot.
Robbie Gordon was involved in that controversy. We see him really loose up off the corner right now, getting aero loose. Talk about that all the time, but here at Dover Raceway, on the bottom of the racetrack, boy, you get loose big time coming off the corners when you're alongside somebody.
Well, I'll tell you, the guy on the move right now is David Rudeman. He's picked up about 2 or 3 spots, really running well. He's got that Toyota nailed to the bottom of the racetrack, Rusty, and he is coming towards the front.
Rudeman, he's a guy, doesn't know what he's going to do next year in the NASCAR Next Cup Series yet. Got a contract offer from Michael Waltrip, like we heard. But this car right here, this Busch Series car that Rudeman's been driving, it's been solid. It's been one of the quicker cars throughout the year. And, you know, I was watching this car earlier in the year at Richmond, Virginia on a test. And that test session's where the year turned around for them. They learned something that helped this car.
Toyotas today, you see Leffler in 6th, Rudeman, the one Rusty was just talking about a moment ago, in 7th spot, Dave Blaney back in 14th. And here comes Biffle from 33rd because of that pit road penalty. He slides beneath Brad Keselowski and takes that spot away. He's now in 11th position.
Biffle has that thing on a rail. He is absolutely flying around this racetrack. He's coming on stout.
Dave?
And they knew they had a good race car in practice, Doc. After the first practice on Friday afternoon, he radioed to crew chief Eddie Pardue, you know what? This car's pretty darn good. And he said, you know, I want to try one more shock change. And it was that gave him the fast time in the day's first practice. From there, they moved on to qualifying and put the car on the pole. So Biffle's been very confident. If not for that pit road penalty, he might have been out in this, leading this thing and staying out there.
Dave, Greg Biffle has won at least one NASCAR Busch Series race the last 6 consecutive years. His best finish this year was 2nd at IRP. He has not won since the February of 2006, some 53 Busch events ago. That's why he is so hungry to get to victory lane today.
Well, Jerry, he's got a lot of time right now. There are only 78 laps in this race. We're not even halfway yet, and Biffle's already rocketed himself through the field. He's going to be just fine if he can stay out of these caution flags, these wrecks that have been happening.
We talked about 13 drivers doing double duty, running the NASCAR Busch Series today and Cup tomorrow. We asked Greg Biffle, why do you run the NASCAR Busch Series?
what makes it fun is no pressure. You know, the pressure of the points, the pressure of your job, and all the things are like secondary, you know, because you're not running for a championship, and you're just there to have fun and win. And that's what makes the Busch Series so much fun for me.
I think you hear that from a lot of drivers. They say it's just easy. There's no points. I just want to race and not feel like I'm under the gun from my sponsors, everything. I'm chasing points. They can just get out there and slip and slide. If something goes wrong, hey, who cares?
You know, and we spent the early part of the season, too, talking about the bushwhackers, so to speak. But I think it's a treat to come to the racetrack on Saturday evening and look out there and see a Martin Truex or a Greg Biffle or Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, some of the greatest race car drivers in the world out here competing with the young guys. I think it's awesome.
Battle heating up for third position. Mike Bliss, we tell what a great job he has done for Armando Fitz's Dodge, a 22 car. There's our points leader for the NASCAR Busch Series. Carl Edwards behind him in the 60 car. Edwards, of course, the winner here back in the spring on the concrete at Dover.
You know, Carl Edwards, as of recent weeks, has really had a tough time, but, you know, he doesn't believe it's necessarily that they're having bad luck. He just believes that they were so good early that they have not been able to live up to the expectations that they started out the season with. And I disagreed with him a little bit. I said, you've had some DNFs, some wrecks. He says, no. He says, I'm telling you, we're trying to figure out why we were so good so early and not been able to duplicate that, not why we're so bad.
Well, big guy, I think it's bad luck. What do you think? I'm staying with the bad luck
I think he's trying to put a spin on it. You know how you race car drivers are, man. You put spins on everything.
Carl Edwards has been king of the concrete. He's won all 4 of his NASCAR Busch Series events this year on concrete ovals. Right now, he's in the chase. The chase for Denny Hamlin, who's the leader after 83 laps. Back in a moment. This telecast of the NASCAR Busch Series is available in high definition on ESPN2 HD, presented by Vizio. Moving in on halfway, we are lap 90 of 200. Denny Hamlin is the leader. Martin Truex in second spot. Mike Bliss in the battle for third position, heating up with Carl Edwards.
Well, Edwards got just a little bit fresher tires. He just overhauled Bliss on the inside. And Carl's car, he's had so much bad luck like we talked earlier, but he's got one of the better looking cars on the racetrack today. Look at the car right at the bottom of the racetrack and do what he wants with it, guys.
Yeah, and I think Mike Bliss will find out what kind of race car he's got, too, on those worn tires. He's going to run several laps, see if he can keep up, keep pace, and once he gets some fresh rubber on there, maybe he'll be able to roll.
More on Mike Bliss with Dave.
And he just lost that third position, Doc. Remember, they're on the tires that they started the race with and on the fuel load that they started the race with. They will have to pit by about lap 105, or that thing will run out of fuel. Now, if we get a caution, and there's a crash on the racetrack, I'm told, this could be good news for Bliss, because he will need to pit, and others may come as well.
Just as Dave said caution, the caution came out. Dave, you got that kind of power. Here's a 27 car. Robbie Gordon, the Bruco team, and the car trying to get up.
You're stuck in the water there.
Out of the water there, down next to the wall. We had the rain shower come through about 1 o'clock today. That's the drainage area.
Well, there's one thing we know for sure. Tony Raines didn't hit him.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody mad at him, it is Tony Raines. He's in the infield.
I believe we heard him say he just turned it sideways. So another case of the car just getting out from under. And we'll have to take the replay look and see what happened. But yeah. Just lost it, Rusty. Doc, it looks like he came in the corner and the car just slid sideways, turned around on him once again.
That's off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Robbie was having a great run, being shown in the 8th position. As we mentioned, his first ever ride for Bruco, coming off his best finish of the year in the Busch Series 9th at California just a few weeks ago.
Rusty, I mean, we're seeing a lot of these guys out by themselves, just the rear end just coming out from under them. How as a driver do you keep your confidence and keep maintaining pace when you know that car can come out from you under you?
Well, Brad, you know what your condition of your car is. You know how hard you can drive it if it's loose or tight. But the key thing here at Dover is you got to keep the front of the car stuck. You got to have a car that turns good. And sometimes you got the rear of the car just really on a knife edge. It's very loose, and you're holding on for dear life. And I really think that's what happened with Robbie. He just got so low, he might even nip the apron a little bit, de-wedged the car, which makes the car loose, and spun the thing out.
You know, that's interesting you say, because as a fan sitting back watching, you know, such large gaps of time go by. But as a race car driver, you're sitting in that car, and every lap you're doing that. You're dealing with that loose race car. You know it's loose, so you have to stay focused at all times.
Pit stop should be taking place. 7th caution flag today. Crews are poised and ready on the wall. Big break for Mike Bliss. You heard he had to pit in about 4 laps anyway. As they come down 35 miles an hour, let's head down to Shannon Spake.
Well, Dot, Matt Kenseth was involved in that early wreck on and off pit road. Restarted 41st, but stayed out on a pit stop. Has gone all the way up to 5th. Right now, he says the car is just a little free. The air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, and fuel. Mike.
Kevin Mannion counting Martin Truex into his stall. They go to work, having a little bit of problem. The right rear bouncing on that last run. They'll make an air pressure adjustment to correct it. 8 is on pit road, still working on as we go to Dave.
And the 20 car will get a 4-tire change, another track bar adjustment, freed up just a little bit was a request from the driver. Denny Hamlin leaves pit road.
Race off of pit road. Pretty even. Bliss and Rudeman trying to get by, and Bliss will just edge him, although Mike Bliss lost 3 positions. Allmendinger up 5. Bliss the big loser on that pit stop, down from 4th to 7th.
Well, the 22 car, Mike Bliss, that was a big break for him. He was due in at lap 105 for fuel in 10 laps, and this caution flag just really helped his team.
For more information on pit stops, log on to ESPN.com, search word safety.
Yeah, you take those gambles, Rusty. Back even when I was racing, you know, we always took those gambles and tried to stay out every once in a while. And a lot of times they'll bite you. You end up going a lap down. He got the break of a lifetime, but I think he may have just messed up, Doc.
And we are being told that he was too fast exiting the pits, and Mike Bliss had gotten a huge break. He had to come down, as you heard a moment ago, you know, from Dave, that he was going to have to pit before lap 102. He only had about 8 or 9 laps before he had to come in for fuel, and got the caution flag, and then maybe in the excitement, sped off a pit road.
This is such a huge momentum sport, and he just killed all of his momentum, Rusty.
And we saw him exiting pit road. It looks like he really accelerated, so that's where he did it wrong. Just leaving the end of pit road and nailed him.
Well, he was racing the 99 car Rudeman off the pit road. They were neck and neck. In fact, they were just side by side trying to get out of the pits, and it looked like that he may have sped up enough. And of course, those NASCAR loops down there caught him. Watch a 99 pull out. Now watch a 22 go right past him here at the end of pit road.
He just zips up there, right there at the end. He got nailed, and this is all electronic timing. There's no stopwatches or nothing, so when that light turns red up in the NASCAR control room, hey, you're in trouble.
Rusty, how do you guys keep yourselves from speeding down through there? I mean, when that jack falls, you're on that gas, you're getting out. How do you maintain that low RPM and not want to just fly out of there? I want to get out of there and get on the track.
Well, you know your pit road speed bad, that's for sure. That's the reason when you're on the track, you follow the pace car, you go by a tachometer setting, and if the tachometer says 4,500 or 4,000 or whatever, you got to obey it, because NASCAR is electronic. And if that light turns red, like I said, hey, you're busted. Green lights up there are good. It means you're okay. Red lights in the tires said, hey, you're coming out pit road. You got a penalty, buddy.
So if you're sitting on pit road and you're getting your 4 tires and fuel, and you're concentrating, you're focused on making sure you don't speed off pit road. So when that jack drops, you're getting out of your slot, but you're still focused on maintaining the RPMs that you don't speed.
You're supposed to be.
That's what I wanted to hear you say.
The result is that Mike Bliss will go from what would have been a 6th position, or I should say 7th, coming off of pit road. After losing 3 stops on that pit stop, 3 spots on that pit stop, he will go back to the end of the longest line because of that penalty.
Okay. Let's take a look. You talk about aero loose in our draft track. The 60 Carl Edwards right behind Mike Bliss, really pushing him up there. Gets him wobbling off the corners, and God, that's a perfect explanation of how you get loose. You pack that air under the back of the car. Now Edwards gets to the bottom, he's in the clean air, makes the pass, and goes on.
22, Mike Bliss. You saw Sterling Marlin going by. Sterling in the 1 car, subbing for J.J. Yaley, who's ailing with some back issues, giving J.J. a week off. The 60, we are told, has some debris on the front of the grill. Is going to pull up and use the back of the 8 car to try to brush it off.
I believe it just fell off, Jerry, as our cameras went to it. So the grill's clean right now. He's in good shape.
Green flag waves again. Denny Hamlin, an ailing Denny Hamlin. If you just joined our coverage, he had IV fluids because he wasn't feeling well. About 45 minutes prior to climbing in the car, he had Kyle Busch standing by. Whoa, Biffle, the high part of 3 wide off of turn 2.
And you see McCready get loose in a 21 car, slide up the racetrack. There's a gaggle of cars. They're loose, they're sliding. Kelly Byers in the wall.
Byers pancakes the wall. the Clorox car there coming by. There's the 47 car that hit the wall, and a lead change up front as Truex goes by Denny Hamlin, and now Carl Edwards is making the challenge.
Carl Edwards is on the march, and you didn't see Martin Truex, the cream rising to the top. Like I said, I talked to him earlier. He said that he loves this racetrack, and he just feels like other drivers just don't like it. But he absolutely loves it.
But, Brad, this is the first time all day long that Martin Truex has got some clean air. So now let's see what he's got in his car, because I believe he's got one of the fastest cars in the field.
Let's show you some of the contact. They were 2 and 3 wide here a moment ago. Watch the 47 car. That's Stephen Wallace right behind him.
Kelly goes down and touches that apron. He comes from the top of the racetrack all the way down in front of Stephen Wallace and bumps that apron and almost de-wedges that race car.
And Kelly's car got very loose right there in front of the field and just lost and slid up, but looks like he's okay.
Stephen did a great job of not running over him. He could have just run all over him.
Just past the halfway point, and now Carl Edwards decides he wants to lead for the first time today.
Here comes Concrete Carl. Let's see what he's got. He's going to step it out. Here comes Denny Hamlin. We know he's got a hot rod. Let's see if he can walk him down.
And like you said, Carl just loves that concrete. He's won so many races on the concrete, it's unreal. Jamie?
And Robbie Gordon sitting in his car as they repair it. What happened just now, Robbie?
I just lost it. Car was a little bit tight, and I was romping the gas pretty hard to get it to rotate, and it just got away from me. So Kleenex guys, Scott's guys just did an unbelievable job. Car was very, very fast. We had to start dead last, and we drove ourselves, I don't know, 5th or 6th place whenever we were there. So disappointing day for them, but they did prepare a very fast race car.
Robbie, the tables were turned. You got the helmet thrown at you this time by Tony Raines. What happened between you two?
Well, Tony got underneath me coming off of 4, and I got a little bit free, and then I was going to dart back underneath him, and I just misjudged him. 100% my fault. I was going to come back behind him so I can get back in line. I didn't want to lose 2 positions instead of 1, and just clipped him a little bit.
Robbie Gordon, guys, quick race car today. He's going to hope to get back out there before the end.
Well, it takes a big man to admit that, and I can totally understand it because he barely clipped Tony Raines on the back right rear corner. But I can understand why Tony's mad too.
Yeah, Tony didn't know exactly what happened. I'm sure after he's heard that explanation, he'll be really happy with it.
14 car, Kyle Krisiloff, and the 47 of Byers. We just saw the contact with Kelly Byers.
Come on down, come on down. 14 just wrecked me.
Guys, I don't know if we're going to get to see a complete race today. I mean, we go 10, 15 laps, and there's a caution at every corner. This is just really bizarre. There's no let up.
Caution number 8 today. We are just past the halfway point. Now, a lap before this is what was happening with the 47 car.
Looks like he got sandwiched right there in between Bliss and Stephen Wallace. He got Stephen a little loose. Great job by Stephen keeping that race car under control. Here comes the 14 into the picture. Kyle Krisiloff.
Different angle. Now watch the 14 trying to make the pass inside of the 47.
You can see the Kyle's car just gets caught up in the left front corner of Kelly Byers and just can't get away from him. This track has got so much bank in the front straightaway, it drives the nose up at the track. We're talking 9 degrees of banking in the straightaways, 24 in the corners. And it's hard to negotiate these straightaways.
That's a great point, Rusty. I stood down on the racetrack yesterday and watched the cars come by in qualifying, and what it looked like, what I noticed, it seems like the cars are on top of you when they come by. It seems so narrow.
Kyle Krisiloff on pit road. Kelly Byers still on the racetrack. And folks, we are under caution for the 8th time a day, and we're just barely past the halfway. It's a slugfest at Dover. Back in a moment. Our NASCAR Busch Series coverage at Dover is being brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. By Kingsford Charcoal. This game day, grab your friends and family and fire up the grill. It's time to bring the tailgate home. And by FreeCreditReport.com. Stay on top of your credit score and credit report at FreeCreditReport.com. Folks, welcome back to Dover, Delaware. 8th caution flag today coming out. We're just barely past the halfway mark. This one with Kelly Byers and Kyle Krisiloff having contact. Carl Edwards, king of the concrete. All 4 wins at concrete this year in Busch competition. Here comes Denny Hamlin making a challenge for the lead in turn 1.
Okay, boys, let's just breathe. Let's just breathe for about 8, 10 laps. Let's see if we can get some time in on the racetrack. A little seat time for everyone.
I don't think they're going to listen to you, Brad. I mean, they've been having some problems all day long negotiating this track here at Dover. But right now, Carl Edwards got a pretty good lead. Got that clean air right now. And that's what you want, man. Get that downforce. Get away from those guys behind you.
Yeah, Carl Edwards and Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, they seem to be the class of the field thus far.
Well, the guy that's rebounded right now is a 17 car, Matt Kenseth. After that incident early in the race, he's back, cycled around in the right pit sequence, sitting there running fourth right now. Got a good car.
Your top 4 cars in today's NASCAR Busch Series race right now are also involved in the chase for the Nextel Cup. They'll be running here for 400 laps on Sunday, and these guys are decided to run a 200-lap Busch race on Saturday to get tuned up for what's going to happen on Sunday. Dave?
Guys, right now your leader, Carl Edwards. That car is just a little too easy on the turning side, a little free going into the corners. But his main concern was, how do I beat that 20 car? Talked a lot under caution about his line and where he was driving his car and how hard it was seemingly driving into the corner. Was the 20 doing the same thing, or was he doing something different? He knows Denny Hamlin's very good, and he's working with the crew and his spotter to try to figure out how to beat him.
But Jerry, you talk about how good these guys really are. The top 4 positions locked in the NASCAR Nextel Cup chase for the championship. And you talk about how they just rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, all these drivers out here in the Busch Series, and you got 4 of the top guys leading. That's unbelievable.
Well, you know, and you notice it throughout the year when Kevin Harvick comes over into the Busch Series and gets in his Busch car, how well that car runs. I mean, or Tony Stewart comes over and drives his car, it runs extremely well. And when the younger participants are in those cars, they don't run quite as well because of lack of experience. But once again, the greatest race car drivers in the world are these guys in the Cup Series.
Well, let me tell you what makes him good. You saw Denny Hamlin just work the top side of the track. Denny's not just going to sit behind Edwards and hang out there. He's going to the top, going to try to get some momentum, then to shoot underneath them. That's called working the grooves. That's called going to the top, going to the bottom, go wherever you have to go to pass the guy.
Denny Hamlin now is going to go to the bottom groove of this racetrack. If you just joined our coverage, Denny Hamlin, who takes the lead there on lap with 86 laps to go, was not feeling well just prior to the start of this race. Went to the infield care center, had IV fluids administered. He was didn't put his fire suit on until just moments before he climbed in the car. They had Kyle Busch, who will be his teammate next year at Joe Gibbs Racing, standing by. Kyle's been in the pits to stand by to get in the car, but when you got a car running that good, I'm not sure if that's if you even need to think about getting out.
Doc, that's better than a flu shot right there, baby. When that car's running that good and he's up on the wheel and he can take it and put it, just like Rusty pointed out, where he wants to, he's got to be feeling great.
Well, Brad, we saw him sitting down there on pit road. He was just sweating really bad before the race started. He had his uniform down around his waist, just feeling horrible. But guys, when you get in these cars and you put your helmet on, it really, the sickness goes away. It really doesn't. But look at Rudeman on the bottom. Good run there.
Rudeman taking the 5th spot away, or attempting to, now has done it from Jason Leffler. Give a call. The 16 car, Biffle, apparently.
Left side. Let's do left side.
Well, I'm going to tell you, every time Greg Biffle takes 2 steps forward, it's like it takes 3 steps backwards. Just can't get a break.
Well, evidently he's got loose lug nuts right now.
Do 4 here. Do 4. 4 tires.
And Greg cannot tell if it's a right side or a left side. The crew's just called for 4 tires now to go for the safe way out. Dave?
And you got it, Rusty. They tried and tried to have Greg determine which corner it was happening on, but he could not. So the safe move is to change all 4. That car was really loose in the restart. But what a day gone south for Biffle. He restarted right there, 6th. Had a chance maybe to race to the front. He was the pole sitter. Had one of the dominant cars this weekend, but with a pit road penalty. And now this. Issues have given Biffle no chance to win today.
But guys, he just wants to have fun out there, and he told us earlier that, you know what, I love running good, and he proved to everybody he had a good car today. But hey, a bad situation like this, he's going to still sleep good tonight, guys. He was having fun out there.
17 car on the move. That's Matt Kenseth in 3rd position. Right behind him, Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car. Mike?
And Martin Truex Jr., Doc, really has been assessing his competition most of the last, say, 50 laps or so. Over the last caution period, there was a pretty interesting exchange between him and his crew chief, Kevin Mannion, as he really set his sights on who he needs to beat.
Just a little bit tight, right where it's been, but it'll come to me. Just hope if I can keep him in sight, you know, if I can stay within 100 feet ready to strike, I'll be okay.
Truex also said on his radio that he feels like he can beat those 3 guys ahead of him if he gets a long run. The problem, he says, though, he feels like they can go a little bit longer than he can. They're about 8 laps short on fuel if this thing continues to go green.
Well, I really think that Carl Edwards and Denny Hamlin got a little bit better car than Martin Truex does right now. At least the lap times were showing it, but that last time by, Truex just ran a 24.88 to a 25.03 of the leader, Denny Hamlin. So, hey, looks like he does have a good car.
Yeah, but as you sit back and you strategize and you look at the history of this race thus far, you know there's going to be more cautions. That's just the percentages. So I think that's what, as a crew chief, they will start, and Bono will start, you know, managing that into the strategy.
We've seen the 17 car wiggle last time. This time he goes very high up across the racetrack, opens the door, and Truex takes the spot away.
Well, Truex's car has been doing different things. It runs a lot faster. Runs a lot faster later in the run, and that's playing to his advantage on the long green flag runs, and we can get that. Shannon, what do you got going on down there?
Well, Doc, you're right. That car is loose for Matt Kenseth right now, running in the number 17 car. What a day it has been for Matt Kenseth. Started this race telling me that this was the worst car he's had at this track. Involved in a wreck, has worked his way all the way back up to fourth. It may be all in vain. Drew Bickerstaffer, his crew chief, said they are 3 laps short of fuel.
Well, I don't think they're going to have to worry about that because there will be another caution. I'm going to bet on that.
I'm betting with you.
Yeah, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd say at least one more.
At least.
And when it starts, Jerry, the cautions breed cautions. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but it probably will. And he'll get some tires on that car, get some fuel in it, make some last-minute adjustments. But he's up in the top 5, and that's good.
Pretty good battle here. Dave Blaney in the 10 car. Whoa, here's Kyle Krisiloff, who talked about the caution, and you called it.
Hold your brakes if you can.
I tell you, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that was coming. Boy, he's wasted that one pretty bad too, Rusty.
Brad, did that make us look smart just
I
then?
think it did. I hope so.
Okay.
That's the only thing that can do it.
That was the fuel neutralizer just there.
There you
They're going
go.
to come in and make some adjustments. Get a little insurance there.
But the good news is we ran 21 laps of green that time.
But
So we're
that's
getting
just
there.
outstanding. Time to take a nap, go to the fridge, do whatever you had to do there. And we come back, we're going to have a little Saturday night shootout now.
Be able to make it on fuel, Kyle Krisiloff. Gets his car all the way in, and where the safety crews can get to him. He was involved in the incident just 21 laps ago between himself and Kelly Byers. Kyle getting unhooked and getting ready to climb out. We'll show you what happened here just a moment ago to Kyle. Top of your screen.
Once again, Rusty, all by himself. Another car all alone.
Kyle had a lot of damage on his car, and it really probably had his car not handled well anyway at that point. And he loses it off the cars. And it happened right in front of the leaders, too. I mean, he was able to, the leaders were able to get through. You see Kyle just getting loose right there.
It's almost as if there's a string on the trunk of that car. Just lifts that rear end up. Look how light that rear end gets. Well, the leaders are right there, too. Look at that. There's Denny. Woo.
No, he had enough forward speed, and he did enough visibility still to get past it, not get involved in it. But, you know, guys, Dover, Delaware, one of the toughest tracks to drive. It takes a really smart driver to understand these transitions, to not let yourself get in trouble on the exit of 2 and on the exit of turn 4.
Pits are closed. That's why they're not coming on the pit road. You heard the pit reporters talking about how critical the fuel was, and these guys have got to be loving the guys that are 2 and 3 laps. You heard Shannon talking about the 17 was 3 laps shy. They got to be loving the fact that they're running under yellow here now, again for the 9th time today.
Yeah, Jerry, if they're running under caution right now, they're saving a lot of fuel. A lot of the teams calculate you could run 2-to-1 ratio. If you're out there running along, you can get twice the mileage on a caution flag. So with 3 laps short, like Matt Kenseth's was, the problem with fuel is going to go out the window if he elects to stay on the track.
Yes, yes. And this takes us all back to the Saturday nights of racing. You know, we're going to have a little less than 70 laps, and this is so exciting. I hate to see the cautions, but I'm so excited.
And how about Denny Hamlin? He was feeling puny when the day began. Didn't feel like he had a lot of strength. He had to be in the care center for IV fluids. This has really got to help him. The fact that he can get a few laps to relax and catch his breath, maybe have some fluids. You see him getting a drink out of that bottle, trying to stay hydrated. And this has got to help him, as although we've still got 72 laps to go, and he's got plenty of work cut out for him, holding off the likes of Edwards, Truex, Kenseth, and company.
Well, Jerry's crew chief's probably telling me I need 1 more hour racing out of you, and after that I'm going to give you a trophy and let you go to bed.
Sounds like a deal.
Pit road still closed here at Dover. Going to vacuum some of the debris up off of pit road. Good crowd on hand. Earlier today, about 1 o'clock, the skies opened up in a rain shower for about 30 to 40 minutes, and it got very dark here. The rain's moved away. The track dried very quickly, and NASCAR's Nextel Cup car was able to get out for about a 38-minute practice session before we started the NASCAR Busch Series event.
And Jerry, leading up to tomorrow's event, that was a very key practice session they got. Those 28 minutes or 29, whatever they got for that second practice session. A lot of the guys driving the car tomorrow's race were very worried they weren't going to get that last practice, and they got it. That's a real good Mr. Feel-Good to get that last practice.
Was that enough time, Rusty, to get enough rubber on the racetrack for tomorrow, including with this race? Is there going to be enough grip?
Absolutely. There's enough right now. This whole race is run. They're in good shape, and at least they're going to sleep a lot better. They all wanted that last practice, and the Cup cars got it.
And guess who was the fastest car in that happy hour practice session? The guy driving the 20 right there, Denny Hamlin, leading the Busch race. He was the fastest car in the Nextel Cup race. And speaking of our coverage of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, our coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Jimmy Johnson will lead him down, reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion, picking up his second pole in the last 3 events at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Pit road is open. Here come the leaders down at 35 miles per hour. Shannon?
Well, Doc, Matt Kenseth is in the same car that he won at both Texas and Fontana earlier this season. Right now, he's just saying he needs a little bit more side bite. So they're going to give an air pressure adjustment and a track bar adjustment. Mike?
Martin Truex looking to be freed up just a little bit. They're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment to the front tires, a quarter pound out of each one as they free him up here on pit road. Dave?
And then Hamlin's car will get an air pressure adjustment that will tighten it up just a little bit. Here's why. In the lead, he believes he can get away better if he has the pressure just a little bit higher. Trouble on the left front. They're having trouble getting the jack up now. This is going to cost him time, but if they leave without the lead, this may not be the way to go. He leaves pit road, but it doesn't look like he's going to win the race.
Carl Edwards, indeed, great call, Dave. Carl Edwards, indeed, tries a loose tire on pit road from the 37 of Casey Atwood's car, and it's out in the middle. That'll cost them. You have to control those tires rolling across the racetrack. But left of your screen, Edwards gains a spot. Denny Hamlin loses a spot. You heard the trouble they had with the jack there. And now the question is, have they rolled the dice and created a problem for Denny Hamlin? Watch the 17 pull out.
And man, that is close quarters. Just bumps that tire a little bit. Crew guy does a great job standing up and not getting knocked over. But you know, that's the reason these guys are in such danger down in those pit roads sometimes. I would not want to do that. That is just close, but they're very professional guys. They know what they're doing. They're accustomed to this.
Yeah, and they're in very good shape. I mean, like I say, I'm very impressed with the physical fitness level of the guys on pit road. And that right there, that accident could have really hurt someone, but the guy's in such good shape, he gets away with it.
Crew camera, watch here from the 60 car, watch Cameron Cobb, and no Biffle in front of him, so he was able to drive right out in the Biffle, through the Biffle pits, and that helped him tremendously exiting the pits.
Yeah. Look at the empty stall right there in front of him. He just goes right through Biffle's stall, straight ahead, straight shot.
Yeah, and he's got good grip. He's on that concrete. The car launches pretty good, and he gets away from there. And that's the reason you hear the guys always talking. They want that #1 pit stall because it's just so much easier to get out.
It's more like a pro stock dragster launching out of
Talking about tomorrow's race, the car tomorrow race, Jimmy Johnson talked forever how he wanted to really get that one stall. But you know, I'll tell you a fella I want to talk about right now is A.J. Allmendinger. Take a look at him. He's had a strong car all day long. He's in the 8th position now. And guys, he said driving this Busch Grand National car, Busch Series car, I'm sorry, for Chip Ganassi has really helped his car tomorrow program in the Nextel Cup Series.
I spoke with him in the garage area at length yesterday. He plans on running this race and 2 more, the next 2 coming up at Kansas City and Charlotte. And he's going to say, I'm going to beg Chip Ganassi to let me stay in the car. It's really helped me so much with what happens on Sunday in the Cup car. Jamie.
That's right, Doc, and I talked to him right before he got in the car, and he said it is just giving him all the confidence in the world. He said, I've made 5 Cup races in a row. He said things are turning around. They've thrown so many things at me this year, but being in this Busch car is one of the best things that's happened to him all season. And his wife, I talked to her, she said, yes, he is a better person at home. He definitely is more confident in his abilities as a race car driver, because as you know, Rusty, I mean, somebody keeps telling you and beating you over the head, and your results aren't showing that you're capable of running well. then you start believing it. So this is a good turnaround for A.J. Allmendinger as he sits 8th.
Well, he's kept the car out of trouble, no problems whatsoever for A.J. He's got to be loving staying in the car.
No better example of how it affects him. He qualified 11th for the Nextel Cup race tomorrow here in his Cup car. So, I mean, having a good run. He's right now due maybe for his best ever finish in a Busch car. He's running 8th. His best finish today, 14th at Richmond. By the way, no penalty on that tire on pit road a moment ago. We are being told that the tire was actually knocked out by another car, so the 37 guys of Casey Atwood will not be penalized.
Jerry, back to A.J. Allmendinger one moment here. He went out there yesterday in practice in a car tomorrow, blew an engine up, and only got 1 lap of practice. Felt like he was under so much pressure. When he had to qualify, he jumped in that car and qualified that car 11th. And I don't know if any driver all year long is able to do something like that with no practice.
Yeah, I was standing down there on pit road when they were qualifying and talking to him about his qualifying efforts with no practice time. He says, Brad, I have no idea what I've got, but I've learned so much because of the good fortune of Chip Ganassi. I'm going to go out and give it my best shot. Seat time's what that young man needs.
We were talking about aerodynamics a moment ago. Let's check in our ESPN Dish Tech Center with Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. You know, everybody's talking about the drivers getting seat time, but for a crew chief's perspective, hey, it's better when you come to the racetrack, brand new race car, and when you take it home, it's in a basket. You go to the next race, you got nothing to start with, all over again. So when you run a car at a racetrack, you get a chance to learn what the car likes and dislikes. If it's all in one piece when you carry it home, folks, you can make it better for the next event. Therefore, you're learning also, as well as the driver acquiring seat time. Jerry?
And that's exactly what happens, Tim. That's great. For more information on aerodynamics, log on to ESPN.com. Search word Autotech. Pace car pulls away. Mike Wallace will lead him down in a turn 4. Just 67 laps to go. Let's listen into the spotters as we go full throttle. Contact right on the start there. Back and forth cars getting around the 25 car, getting tagged from behind.
Well, I'll tell you.
And Jason Leffler, take a look at that. One of the guys been in the top 5 throughout the day. Big damage. Front of the car tore off.
Radiator's gone. Let's just pull
a lot of that happened.
Deal here, Jason. We'll fix it back in the garage.
Unbelievable. Bad break for Jason. In the 25 car, he's all tore up. Richard Johns.
Carl Edwards really ran all over the back of Mike Wallace on that restart. He really got into him pretty hard, and I believe he created a lot of this. Let's see what happens here.
Now they were coming down for the restart. Now watch the contact with the 60 and 7.
Just ran all over. He had a fast race car.
Yeah, that was absolutely without a doubt Carl Edwards' fault. He jacked the back end of Mike Wallace up, got Mike loose up into the wall, and that was just impatience. Carl said, hey, I've been winning a race. Mike, you've stood out there in tires and got this track position. Get out of my way, and he's just mad.
Chain reaction behind him at 25 of Johns gets tapped from behind. The 38, you see the damage on the front of Leffler, who's 4th in the points, by the way, here in the NASCAR Busch Series. Now the onboard camera from Richard Johns.
Green.
And Richard just never even got hardly out of second gear. Had his second gear and the third gear and already crashed.
A lot of impatience there. You hear the tires spinning. Oh, man, great job by David Rudeman getting through that.
Here's the best news. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back for the final laps, we're going to be commercial free to the checkered flag.
Drag racing is all about time, and for those in the countdown, time is running out. This weekend, the top 4 will be locked in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Angel Sampey will need all of her skill to move from 5th into the countdown. In the other pro classes, 2 more races, and the stage will be set for the championship fight. Pro Stock, Funny Car, Top Fuel, all are still tight, and the outcome is uncertain. Hot weather in Texas just adds to that uncertainty. We'll have coverage of qualifying tonight at 12:30 and final elimination Sunday evening at 7.
Back at the Monster Mile, and it's been a monster all afternoon. 10th caution flag here for 49 laps. We still have 63 laps to go. But what about the 99 car, David Rudeman? Now, we saw the jam up and the chain reaction a moment ago. Now, watch Rudeman in this 99 car somehow avoid all the snafus and spinning cars in front of him.
You see the 38 car, Jason Leffler, get hit. Now, 25 of Richard John goes across the left front fender. Rudeman checks up out of the throttle. Doesn't get a dent.
Boy, that's just great awareness. A lot of luck. But you hear him getting into the gears, and now all of a sudden he sees the wreck.
Back now, go low.
Oh, man, that is outstanding.
Come on.
You got to remember that.
Caution's out. Watch that 38 tore up.
That is our Castrol Syntec Power and Performance pass of the race, near miss of the race, whatever you want to call it. That was a great move by David Rudem.
Outstanding move. And you know, the big thing is with this race car, I was talking to David and his crew chief yesterday. This is DJ's, Dale Jarrett's race car from Bristol earlier this year. This is a great piece, they feel like. And I said, well, you guys brought it to a short track. It's a short track car. You brought it to a mile track. They said it handles the abrasiveness very, very well.
Now, you're talking about Dale Jarrett ran one Busch race this year at Bristol, Tennessee for UPS, and this is the car that Dale drove. That car was a UPS car. Now it's an Aaron's car.
Yep.
But, you know, we just said we got to give Rudeman some type of award, whatever we got left, guys, because he did a great job out there.
Well, one of the drivers who wasn't so lucky was sitting fourth in the points coming into this week, and he's standing by with Jamie Little.
And he was the best Busch regular driver. Jason, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know, Jamie. I mean, I saw 25. I don't know if he lost it on the restart, but his car's tore up pretty bad, and I don't know what he was doing restarting that far up. Stand for everyday Brown Racing, Great Clips, Toyota. We had a top 5 car, and to get wrecked by someone like that really doesn't even have the credentials to be in the Busch Series is pretty frustrating.
Well, Doc, he was running 6th on that restart. You can hear the banging. This crew working hard to try to get this car up and running and back out on the track before the end.
Well, I can understand their frustration, but everybody deserves to be in the Busch Series. You got to start somewhere. There's a lot of young guys out there, but Jason had a fast car, a top 5 car throughout the day, and hates that.
The 16 car, Greg Biffle's been very animated in the seat, very frustrated. Let's listen in to what he's saying.
The green flag was out, and I was in front of the 7 the entire time. I'm with you. But I'm checking that right now. We were out front there. He didn't get a good start there, so. Yeah, he went, and he spun his tires. We went together, and he spun his tires. And the caution came out. You can't say, no, that didn't count.
Well, the problem, guys, NASCAR says it goes back to the last loop. At the last loop, the 7 car was leading, and that's what Greg's frustrated about.
Green flag, Greg Biffle showing 2 laps down. He was our pole sitter. Now, remember, he had a cut tire, had to make an unscheduled stop. He pulls away in front of the leaders. Mike Wallace, the 7 car, was the leader. Carl Edwards now sailing by on the inside. Denny Hamlin is in front of them.
Right now, Mike Wallace stayed out. He was leading the race because he stayed in the track, and he's got to start up front because of that. But he's got those older tires, and he's trying to hold on for that track position.
Boy, patience plays such a huge part right now in this point in the race. If you can just be patient, and I know that's easier said than done, let it shake out. The cream's going to rise to the top, and those guys who are on the lead lap, who have the fresher tires, are going to get back up there if they can just be patient, Rusty.
Well, this place should be called the Patience International Speedway because they've had such a problem. They just need to be a little bit calmer, and they get this thing to the end.
Another crash in the 29 car. Oh, this is big if this 29 car cannot finish.
88 got it. He finally did.
Scott Wimmer, this car was leading the owner points for Richard Childress Racing coming into this race.
I swerved down, and then I bottomed out.
They had a 40-point advantage over the Jack Roush car number 60, and now the 29 is rolling. Here's the 1 car of Sterling Marlin. Sterling subbing in James Finch's car for J.J. Yaley, who's been ailing with some back problems. And there's Scott Wimmer, who had such a great run in the spring here, finishing 3rd and now very frustrated.
Yeah, now this is a big hit for Scott Wimmer and the Richard Childress team. Like you said, he is racing for the owner's points with Carl Edwards, and this is going to be a huge loss for this team today.
Once again, runs off down the corner. Brad Keselowski on the inside.
Okay, arrow loose, guys. You hear me talking about it all the time. A lot of the viewers get sick of me talking about it, but that's what that was.
Absolutely.
He got down in there and got sideways and lost it before he got to the corner, got up into the 29 car of Scott Wimmer and took him out. Now watch the car step out, just loses the grip up into it.
Yeah, that was purely accidental. Looked like it bottomed out a little bit as well, Rusty, so and just went away from him.
Let me remind you, arrow can lose can happen on any racetrack, a half-mile track, all the way up to Daytona and Talladega.
Inside.
Boy, that's just so unfortunate.
Down, 88 got it. He finally did.
Well, Brad Keselowski was on the rear bumper with the 29 throughout the day. And those two, sometimes drivers just find each other. And these two could not get away from each other throughout the day. And Brad just tried to get around Wimmer, tried a little too hard.
Yeah, he did. And Brad's had a good run going all day. You know, I spoke with Brad, and he says, I really want to earn my way up through this Busch Series and gain the respect of these guys. But I think he's going to have a tough time convincing Scott Wimmer.
Scott Wimmer going to sit in this race car hoping they can get it repaired. He realizes how important that owner's title is for Richard Childress Racing. And look at the damage on Chase Miller's car, the front of the Gillette Evernham Dodge. And they're just trying to, I guess, tape it, beat it, try to pull it out as best they can.
And after the early incident with Chase Miller getting in the back of Matt Kenseth and tearing his car up, it's hard for me to believe this car's still in the field, a matter of fact, Brad, because he really tore it up early.
He really did ding that thing up significantly, but you know, and it's unfortunate because Chase really wanted to make some laps today. He needs those laps and seat time to develop as a young driver. And boy, I tell you, they're all just wadding these race cars up. I don't see any lights around this place, Doc. Are there any lights? They're going to have to cut them on soon.
We're getting close to the record for caution flags. Now, we talked about, Rusty mentioned a moment ago, how the aero can make a big difference at any size racetrack, and particularly here on the high banks at these speeds at Dover. Let's show you with our draft tracks how this works.
You see the 29 car coming down the straightaway right now. He's got the dirty air flowing over top. Watch Brad Keselowski gets down, and when you get down that low underneath them, he loses the downforce to his rear spoiler. No air there, slides up. The back of the car's not sticking, the front of the car's not sticking. And when you don't have that air coming over the car, you just lose that downforce, you lose grip, you slide up the track, and if there's a car alongside of you, you're going to hit them.
Yeah, the right front fender helped a little bit there, too, with making that car a little bit loose. Now, let's listen to the radio here with the 88 car.
Yeah, I didn't hit him that hard.
Yeah, you did pretty good there. Just looking at the replay. Might want to think about right side tires here, guys, just in case. So be ready. Carry them with you.
That's a crew chief keeping him pumped up. I didn't hit him that hard, but you hit him hard enough to take him out and get him in the wall. And
another thing I noticed, you know, with the aero loose as well, Rusty, when you go down that corner, it looks like the race car, period, just gets really, really light.
Well, Brad, here's one of the problems, especially in turn 1 here at Dover and turn 3. When you go off in that corner and you dive off in that corner, that nose goes down and the back of that car comes up. If you got another car behind you going at the corner, buddy, you're in double trouble there.
Just like somebody taking a shovel and stick it in the dirt. It just picks it right up.
That's exactly right.
The 20 car, we told you Denny Hamlin was ailing prior to the race today, had IV fluids, wasn't feeling good. And Dave, they had Kyle Busch coming to the car and standing by. What's the status now?
Well, and if you wonder, yeah, exactly how he is doing right now, Denny Hamlin just offered the wheel to Kyle Busch. Now, Kyle knew it was tongue-in-cheek because if Denny has run this well, this long, he's not giving it up. Big smile came to Kyle's face. There was some friendly banter back and forth. Kyle saying, no, I don't want to drive the car now. Denny was just kidding around. He's feeling good, and Kyle's done his job today waiting, but it doesn't look like he'll be needed in the 20 car today. And what a contrast to the 20 car earlier this year, guys. Remember, they had a relief driver situation at Milwaukee where Hamlin jumped into the car after Almirola had led most of the first part of the race and went on to win the race. So it's been an interesting year for the Rockwell Automation Chevrolet.
Nothing like a good fast Chevy to make you feel better for Denny Hamlin there. He was ailing early on, but doing well now, showing as our leader. Now, Jamie Little is caught up with Scott Wimmer, who's still down where the car is trying to be repaired.
That's right. He's sitting in his car, strapped in with the helmet on, hoping to get out here as soon as possible to salvage some more points. What happened there with the 88, Scott?
I don't know. You know, we were racing real hard there, and we got kind of caught up with a lap car that bottled us all up. But I thought I gave him enough room down there, but he must have just slid up and clipped us in the left rear. So it's a tough day. We weren't running that strong. We got caught up in an accident early. Got the car better, but, you know, we were maybe an 8th place car at the best. But this took us out of it. These guys work quick. We'll get back out there in a minute.
How much added pressure this points chase that you guys are in with Carl Edwards for the owner points championship?
Well, there's a lot of racing left, so we're not really worried about it. You know, Carl had 5 bad weeks, and we're bound to have a couple, so we'll get him back.
Scott Wimmer, guys, always optimistic, and like the other guys, they're trying to repair the car and get back out there.
Man, I just love his attitude, guys. He's just always focused. He's such a good pick to drive this car for Richard Childress. It's unreal. Came from Wisconsin, a lot of short track experience, understands his car, and really wants this ride.
Give a call to the 30 car. Stanton Barrett here is the 34-year-old Bishop, California driver doing a heck of a job. His godfather, the actor Paul Newman, his dad Stan Barrett, longtime stuntman. Stanton has been in over 150 feature films and TV shows. He does very dangerous stunts during the week. Said the safest part of his weeks when he climbs in that NASCAR stock car.
Yeah, Doc,
doing a heck of a job.
I spent some time with his owner, Christian Lincheski, yesterday, and they're excited about Stanton being in the race car, and they got big plans for next year.
Barrett being shown in 13th position, getting set for the restart. 53 laps to go. Denny Hamlin leads him down to the green flag.
See, Greg Biffle clears Denny Hamlin on the inside. He's trying to get that lap back right now. Get back in the hunt. If he can do that, he's looking good. In fact, it looks like he's got it back right now. If the caution comes out, he's going to go wrap around the back and be at the tail end of the field and be back in good shape.
Just joined our coverage. Greg Biffle was the pole sitter. A tire issue. He came on the pit road, lost 2 laps, made up 1 on the racetrack, drove by him, and now is trying to hang on to be on the lead lap with 51 laps to go. And he's got his hands full there with a 20 car and 60 behind him.
And man, if you ever want a guy behind the wheel to get up on it, get yourself out of trouble, you bolt this cat in there because he is unbelievable behind the wheel. Really good driver.
99 car looking beneath the 17 of Kenseth.
These guys have been almost equal all day long. Every time you look up and see the 17, you see the 99 and vice versa. So this is really a great race right here. It's going to be interesting to see if Ruderman can get past Kenseth.
Ruderman's got a better handling car right now. The front of this car is sticking a lot better. He gets up under Matt Kenseth right in the center of the corners. Just take a look at him right here. Gets ready to stab that throttle about right here. Accelerates up alongside him, but he's got to get out of the throttle because he loses the front end right at that point.
And Matt has all the momentum up top, Rusty. It looks like he just drives it off the top.
4-car battle now, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. How about Allmendinger there? And his teammate Sorensen actually got a 5-car battle with Dave Blaney now being the 5th car at his 5th through 10th.
Now you got the team cars of Reed Sorensen and A.J. Allmendinger in a 41 and a 42. Don't need these guys to take each other out trying to win this thing. We've seen enough of that today.
Oh, this is great. This is great. Give me some popcorn, Doc, and a little bit of something to drink. A little soda pop. Get up on the couch. This is awesome.
And look at Dave Blaney working the top lane, trying to get some momentum up off of the corner to catch Reed Sorensen.
And if you're A.J. Allmendinger, you're saying, why didn't I run this Busch car a long time ago? Man, I'm having some fun out here.
This is great. This is as good as it gets.
Wow, this is called plug and play. Chip Ganassi and Felix Sabates, they field such good race cars. And for A.J. just to be able to jump in this car and compete, a winning car, man, that is hard to come by.
Remember, A.J.'s going to run 2 more races. He's going to run next week at Kansas City, then Charlotte. And the plans were to possibly put Dario Franchitti in the car toward the end of the season. A.J. said, I'm going to beg Chip Ganassi and those guys to let me stay in this car.
Well, I can tell you right now, if it's your choice between Dario Franchitti and Allmendinger, they're probably going to put Franchitti in there. I believe that's the plan Ganassi's got to get this guy in NASCAR Next Tail Cup as quick as he can. Get him that experience, get him that seat time. That's what Franchitti's going to need if he's going to compete next year. But Allmendinger doing a great job for Chip right now and Felix.
Allmendinger's first Busch race was at California, and although he was taken out in that violent crash that involved Keselowski, the experience he got with the Busch car allowed him to log his best Cup finish of the year at 18th at California Speedway.
Well, right now, the 41 car, Reed Sorensen, he's one of the best Busch drivers in the industry. This guy is always fast in these Busch series. You see what he did this year, winning this year with Ganassi's team on the pole at the Brickyard 400, a good 5th place finish that day. And I believe that run and that win is what kept Chip and Felix making a decision to keep Sorensen in his team and in this car.
More on Reed Sorensen. Jamie?
Yeah, and Rusty, to add to that, this is actually Reed Sorensen's last race with the team. That was the plan all along because they have Brian Clausen, the 18-year-old developmental driver, coming in beginning next week, and the plan is to run him until the end of the season. So Reed Sorensen, he knows this is his last hurrah. He said, actually, told us last night, this is the worst car he's driven, but obviously, guys, they've worked on it, and he's been in the top 10 all day.
Well, I just might have to step up to the plate and put Reed in one of my second cars because he's pretty good. And if somebody's going to help you out, guys, Sorensen's one of the guys who can really help you.
Yeah, and you made a great point. He picked up a lot of confidence in the middle of the season this year because he had been struggling with his confidence. Young man out of Peachtree City, Georgia. I've watched Reed ever since he came up through the Bandolero division. Young guy, a lot of talent. jumped into this the Busch Series and lost a little bit of his swagger because of the weekend competition, week in and week out. But he's getting it back. He's a super young race car driver. And yesterday I spoke with him, and he is so excited about this race today. You see him running well, as well as the Cup race tomorrow.
It's amazing how one race will make that big a difference. He led 95 laps at Gateway, and has been a different driver with that confidence has come back ever since.
Oh, and this is where they got to be careful. I just started to say it's making me nervous seeing the 41 and the 42 run that close. And boy, Reed really got out of control, and the 42 did too. Both of them almost bit it on that one.
Rusty, what do you think causes these guys, especially young guys, to lose their confidence so easy in this sport? I've never seen another sport where you can lose your confidence so fast as in auto racing.
It's called adrenaline. It's called getting up in the wheel and going for it. Just really getting excited about it and smelling it and wanting it and having and taking that advantage.
Speaking of getting up on the wheel, the 41 of Sorensen and his teammate Allmendinger, a little bit of Ganassi tag.
Now, see, that's something I would have expected with Allmendinger getting into Reed Sorensen. Reed got a little anxious trying to get under AJ and cause that, but they both did a good job gathering it back up.
Now he's got a Toyota full of avocados between them, so that's Dave Blaney in the 10 car there between Reed Sorensen and Allmendinger.
That was a great example, too, between those two team cars. When you come off the corners here, you gain a lot of grip. So sometimes you'll get a little extra bite and you'll run right up into the car. Mike?
Well, coming into the day, the optimism level was extremely high for Dave Blaney. He told me this is the best car he's had all year, but there may be a developing problem. They've lost 2 hood pins on that car. I've been told by the team, though, they do not plan to come down pit road unless they have to. Guys?
Well, we have to take a little closer look, guys. I don't see the hood pins loose. I'm counting them. I see the right front loose. We'll take a look at this.
Trent Owens, the crew chief, doesn't seem overly concerned. Let's get an explanation from our crew chief, Tim Brewer, down in the Dish Tech Center. Tim?
Hey, Jerry, a while ago when you seen the car behind the 10 car, anytime air pressure comes off the hood's going to deflect like this. When he's out front, he actually has air pressure on the front of the car. It's going to keep the hood closed to a certain degree. But when he knocks out this other hood pin over there, that's when that hood, it's going to leave that thing.
Tim, that's a great explanation. And Jerry, it's called dirty air, that turbulent air that our Andy Petrie and guys, we keep talking about it. That's what makes that hood bounce around. And when he gets in that clean air, nobody around him that holds that hood down. Tim, great explanation.
As Tim just told you, now watch the 10 cars. It begins to move in behind the 42. You'll see the turbulent air begin to pull up that right front of the hood. There it is right there.
If they can keep 3 hood pins in, that's fine. NASCAR's going to be looking at this.
Back it down, back it down, back it down.
Caution, the 52 car. Donnie Neuenberger has spun. Looks like minimal to no contact. Doesn't look like he hit anything.
We're going to pull the right front fender out. We'll get tires.
Donnie was several laps down, but just staying out of trouble.
All right, Edwards got in the wreck and tore his car up a little bit, and now this puts Greg.
Right front of the tire.
This puts Greg Biffle, our lucky dog, which is going to put him back on the lead lap. But now that's really going to hurt the downforce of Carl Edwards. He's going to have to get in and get that fender pulled out, and if he thinks he's going to win this thing.
Caution number 12, which ties the record for the year. This is equals the most caution flags we've had thus far in 2007. Now watch the 60 car down on the apron.
I mean, there just wasn't a whole lot of room there. I mean, Donnie was in the almost at the bottom of the racetrack, and Carl came in, and it just. Well, I tell you, I don't want to second guess a driver, but it seemed like Carl could have went high and got around Donnie Neuenberger. I know he wanted him to give up the spot, but he was there. It just seemed like you want to avoid that, Rusty.
Well, I hear you, Brad. But when you're a driver, it's a whole different point of view. I mean, when you're in the car.
It's going to rub a hole in the right front.
And you think that
bring it to us, bring it to us. I'm sure they'll fit anyway.
You think that groove's wide enough, you can make it.
17 cars stayed out. Here come the others. The 8 stayed out. Here they come down pit road 35 miles an hour. Denny Hamlin. Greg Biffle now back on the lead lap. The damaged car of Carl Edwards. Allmendinger is there. Rudeman is there. Just 33 laps to go, and they're going to have to work on that right side of the car. Down in the Denny Hamlin pits with Dave.
And it was a really tough decision, Doc, for the 20 crew. They knew that they might give up a lot of track position if they came in or stayed out. You know, people do the opposite thing. But when the 60 had the damage and they knew that Carl Edwards was going to come in and get fresh rubber, they said, we hate to get beat on tires. We've got to come in. We'll put on 4 fresh tires that we've got, and we'll be equal with one of the faster cars out there, who was Carl Edwards. Now they're in trying to fix that damage on the right side. They'll make a 4-tire change as well. But what the 60 had to do dictated what the 20 ended up doing.
Saw Mark Truex and Matt Kenseth stayed on the racetrack. And I'm afraid with Denny Hamlin with 33 laps to go with new tires, those guys could be in trouble because new tires here do a lot.
Yeah, really creates the advantage gap.
Under caution here for the 12th time a day. And while we're under caution, let's check in back in our studios at ESPN. College football coming up. Here's Mark Jones. Mark?
To Fayetteville, Arkansas, where tailgating is a way of life here in Hog Country. You come out early, fire up the barbecue, and get your grill on and cheer for the home team. The Razorbacks and their fans have more than just tasty dishes on their minds. They've got a win against the upstart Kentucky Wildcats on the minds right now of the fans. That's coming up right after the race. Right now, we go back to NASCAR.
Thank you, Mark. Exciting college football coming your way at the conclusion of the NASCAR Busch Series event here in Dover, Delaware. Going to be a lot of beating and banging tonight on the college gridiron, but we're beating and banging here NASCAR style. We have had a season-tying record 12 caution flags thus far, and I got to believe we're not over yet, guys.
And why this has happened, I don't think anybody really knows. I'd have to say aggressive driving because this track hasn't changed since last year. This tire hasn't changed much. You just see a lot of aggressive driving going on out there, guys, and I believe that's what's caused this problem today.
Can't wait to get down and talk to these guys to figure out what the deal has been and get some opinions of the drivers and whatnot, because this has been unbelievable.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen, Brad. They're going to be pointing fingers at each other. They're going to be pointing fingers all over the place. He did it. I didn't do it.
It's not my fault.
And when it rains and pours, sometimes it happens, and this is one of the days that it's happening.
Now, the guys that stayed on the racetrack, remember, Martin Truex stayed out, Matt Kenseth in the 17, the 22 of Bliss stayed out, and Jason Keller, who's just 2 races away from that record for career starts. Speaking of starts, green flag waves for Martin Truex, and will lead him down into turn 1. 31 laps to go.
And, guys, what I want to see is how fast can Denny Hamlin get back to the front in those 4 fresh tires. But track position is everything in that clean air, and that's what Truex has got right now.
Denny Hamlin trying to knife his way from 6th position. 30 laps, but he's got fresh tires.
Yeah, and the fresh tires are everything in the world when your other guys don't have fresh tires. You got to take your advantage and go for it.
The other thing that plays into this, I know he's feeling a little bit better out. Here we go.
Oh, A.J. Allmendinger.
Hold on up there. Hold on up there. You got 4 more coming. Yellow's out. You got 1 more coming. Blue tire or something, Brian.
Yeah, 10-4. I saw Sparks get in one.
A.J. Allmendinger, who had run as high as 5th today, looked to be having his first career top 10 finish, and now has had trouble on the racetrack to bring out caution number 13.
It looks like Steve Wallace is going to be the lucky dog this time. Get one of his 2 laps back that he's down. But Allmendinger's been so good. You hate to see this happen for this team. We just got talking about how strong he's been all day long.
We're told he cut a tire. Now he will come down pit road to get the Ganassi crew to take a look at it.
Doesn't look that bad from this angle.
Yeah, he's got a right front tire now.
Right sides, guys. Right sides only. Right now, we'll get caught.
No damage.
He's going to be back in the game. He's not out of it right now.
Oh, man, it looks like he got into Landon Castle there and probably just knocked the valve stem right off that thing, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen this many times throughout the year, Brad, where the guys get the right rear tire in it or the right front. And we've been seeing this problem a lot with the car tomorrow. The splitter has actually been tearing some tires up.
They are going to hold Allmendinger a lap for intentionally bringing out the caution flag. NASCAR does not like that. See the official standing in front of him? They said they got all the Mounties down there going to hold him because they said if you stop on the racetrack to bring out the yellow flag, they're going to take that lap from you. And now they're going to put left side tires on A.J. Allmendinger's car and put him a lap down.
Well, I'll guarantee you. I mean, I know what NASCAR is thinking, but we'll see. Jamie?
And Brian Patty right now making the call on A.J. Allmendinger. What did NASCAR just tell you, Brian?
They amaze me every week. I won't even go there. They said we intentionally brought out the caution. I'm like, I said, give me a break. He blew a tire and went in and was against the fence. But it's normal for NASCAR.
And A.J. Allmendinger on the radio, obviously not very happy, guys.
I can guarantee you A.J. Allmendinger didn't drive up there and stop. He didn't even think of doing that. He's too new of a driver. But, hey, a rule's a rule. And those guys go out there on the racetrack and they stop. Hey, I've seen this many times. So NASCAR's held strong on what their decision on that is.
Well, they do have the rule. And you know,
rule's a rule.
Rule's a rule. And sometimes, you know, they're enforced at the toughest of times. And it's just unfortunate. A.J. had a great day going.
For those of you tuning in for the ESPN2 College Football Primetime presented by GoDaddy.com, that's Kentucky at Arkansas, a key SEC battle. It will get started at 6 o'clock over on ESPN Classic, and then we'll continue here on ESPN2 at the conclusion of our NASCAR Busch Series race. Kentucky coming off that big win over arch rival Louisville last week, in Arkansas a tough last few second loss at Alabama. A key SEC matchup again. That game starting at 6 o'clock on ESPN Classic, and will continue here on ESPN2 after the final 27 laps of NASCAR.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger, next time he hits a wall, he knows just to keep on going. Don't stop.
Keep on digging. That's exactly right.
You slow down, you're going to get busted. And that's a controversial rule, I know that. It's pretty black and white.
Yeah.
But when you see it under this situation, you kind of understand both points of view.
Sure, absolutely.
Remember, Martin Truex, Matt Kenseth, and Mike Bliss, the top 3 cars, stayed out on that last caution. They did not pit. Denny Hamlin, Bobby Hamilton, Rudiman, and those guys who did pit now are being shown all the way back up to 6th, 7th, 8th, and so they don't have many spots to go with fresh tires in the final 27 laps.
All right, Brad, we're going to have some more cautions. What do you think?
Man, I tell you, I am wore out just watching the cautions. But I'll tell you who looked pretty good on that restart was Mike Bliss. He looked like he had a real good, stable race car. And he's made his way back to the front of this deal. So I'm going to keep an eye on that 22 car. I know that the Truex is the heat right now, but I think that 22 car's got something for him.
Record for caution flags was set here last fall. 13 caution flags at Dover International Speedway. Guess we just tied the record here at 13 with still 27 laps to go. Martin Truex Jr. from nearby Mayetta, New Jersey. It's the home racetrack for Truex. He leads him down to the green flag.
Another good restart for Martin Truex. Got out of there. Look at the 88 car Keselowski still on the racetrack. That right front fender tour being shown in the 4th position right now. Shannon, what's going on down there?
Well, I spoke to Brad Keselowski before the race started, and he told me he was very confident coming into this race. He told me that they had the same setup in this car that they did at Bristol just 2 races ago. That's where he got a 7th place finish. Now, he did have some problems, fell back a little bit, had some problems on pit road, right side damage, getting involved in the 29 car accident, but they did not pit on that last stop, and that's how he's gotten this track position, currently running in the top 5 and looking for a top 5 finish here today.
Denny Hamlin makes the pass. Thank you, Shannon, on the 88 car of Keselowski. This is the car. He had his best run of the year. We're talking about Keselowski. Finished 7th at Bristol, having a good run here, trying to get his career best Busch finish in the top 5.
Well, Jerry, one of the cool things that happened on his 88 car, crew chief Wes Ward spent some time, fixed that right front fender, spent the time he needed, guys, to get it fixed so he can get back up to compete. And his lap times right now look pretty good.
This is another good run for Brad Keselowski. I spoke to Tony Uri Sr., Pop, who's kind of overseeing this program. He says Brad just needs the laps, and he needs to work on being patient. He wants it all right now. If he does that, he's going to be a tremendous young racer.
Denny Hamlin has fresh tires, but an ailing body. Before the race, the IV fluids. He wasn't feeling well. He was feeling a little bit puny in the car. Now he's having to drive when he is the tiredest in the final 23 laps. Does he have enough left to be able to catch the 22 car and get up into the battle with Truex and Kenseth?
Oh, man, I'll answer that question. You bet he does. He's got a lot of time left. He's got a lot of adrenaline left. He wants to win this thing, and right now, last time by, 1/10 of a second faster than our leader, so Hamlin's coming.
Well, a big part of that, too, he doesn't have an ill-handling race car, Rusty. It looks like that race car is handling super, so it's probably a little bit easier to drive, and it's not as hard on him physically as it could be at this racetrack.
Well, Brad, look at the line he just took. Up the top of the racetrack. Let him go, he said.
You were right about that line. He went up the top of the racetrack, and he just cut right down to the bottom. That bad boy's handling great.
Ooh, boy, that's a real tight quarters coming off the corner. That's where you really get loose. Denny's got those fresh tires. Now he's just going to stab that throttle, pull away. And when he's by himself like this, he can run the bottom of the racetrack and go the fastest. But when he's trying to pass somebody, he's going to go up the top of that track, come down, and try to build that momentum to pass him underneath. And that's what he did with the 22 car of Mike Bliss.
Carl Edwards' damaged car from the incident earlier. There's the 60 car of Edwards. Now he is climbing back into the picture, being shown in the 9th position, trying to move in on David Rudiman for 8th spot.
Well, look at him suck up to the back end of David Rudiman going through that corner. Carl Edwards drives the race car as hard as anyone out here on this circuit or in the Cup circuit. He is marching towards the front. Dave?
And Brad, one of the reasons why he's had to march so far was because, remember, they had a long pit stop fixing that damage. He brought out the last caution when he had contact with the 52 car, and so it wasn't just an on and off of pit road situation. Denny Hamlin got on and off pit road, and now he's getting up to 2nd, guys.
Dave, Denny Hamlin marches on the inside. Rusty, you're exactly right. He had enough in that race car and maybe enough in that ailing body to make the move inside of the 17 car. And now they have told the 8, Martin Truex, and Hamlin is coming in a hurry, and Truex is going to have to hustle that 8 car to try to hold him off for 18 laps.
Guys, I tell you what, 4 tires is everything in the world for grip, and if you get a chance to put them on like the 20 car Denny Hamlin did, go for it.
Carl Edwards made the pass on the 99 car. Now he is being shown in the 8th position, so he makes his march back toward the top 5.
Right now, Denny Hamlin running 0.4 of a second faster than Martin Truex. Guys, it's just a matter of time. Let's watch Hamlin now. Up the top of the track, pulls it down on the bottom, tries to get that slingshot off the corner, pulls right up at his bumper, passes him, and that's the way you got to do it.
Denny Hamlin on the inside trying to get by Truex using the highlight, jabs back in the throttle. Truex does, trying to hold him off, and thus far Hamlin has not made the pass yet.
Well, almost.
Yeah, he almost got him. It's incredible how much momentum Truex built up. Denny Hamlin's easily the fastest race car on the track, but he still could not get by Martin Truex.
But watch this right now.
Need to go. Have fun.
Martin Truex sees his line. He's running the top lane right now, trying to take his lane away. Look at that. Truex is on top now, taking the slingshot away.
Is he trying to pinch him down, Rusty?
He's trying to pinch him down, and now Martin's got the run off the corner. The speed down the back straightaway increases, guys, when you do that. This is going to go on for a while until Denny Hamlin can clear him, and this just might be the time.
He got him. He got him.
That's it.
Denny Hamlin has been so fast. Let's see if he can check out.
And momentum here at the Busch race, here at Dover, Delaware, off the corners is everything in the world. And running that car high and coming down low is the way to do it.
Denny Hamlin has led 5 times for 124 laps and retakes the lead. Carl Edwards was battling a moment ago with Rudeman. David Rudeman, 4th position. Now watch this between the 60 and the 99.
Carl's been coming all day long. Give a little bit of that chrome horn to David Rudeman, creating a little bit of space.
Carl's been pretty aggressive throughout the day. I mean, he gets an award for being one of the most aggressive drivers, and you know what? That's the reason he's a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. He is going forward. Little bump there.
I'm here with you, looking inside, running into you. Clear down to 60.
Edwards up to 8th position. Remember, 2 weeks ago, last time out, he broke that string of not having a top 10 finish in the last 5 races in a row by finishing 2nd at Richmond. Now trying to get another top 5 as he's trying to move in on Jason Keller, the 11 car.
How about a great run for Brad Keselowski? He's hustling it pretty good.
How about Greg Biffle from 2 laps down? He has driven the wheels off that 3M Ford and moved all the way back to 11th position.
Well, his lap times aren't really good, but he's been stuck in traffic, cutting his way through the field and getting stuck behind people. Now he just passes Jason Keller, the 60 car Carl Edwards does. Hey, let's give a shout out to Keller too. He's been fantastic in that 11 car throughout the day.
Jason's had a super day today.
And a reminder for those of you looking for Kentucky at Arkansas college football, that game has just now kicked off over on ESPN Classic. Mark Jones and Bob Davies will have the call on Classic right now. They will join the game here on ESPN2 at the conclusion of this NASCAR Busch Series race.
We were talking about Jason Keller. 416th NASCAR Busch Series start, 2nd all time, 1 behind the great Tommy Houston. Outstanding job by Jason Keller. He's been around as a great veteran, and it's good to see him back.
Really is. Everybody deserves a break. He's been on top, he's been on the bottom, he's been all around. He understands this sport.
Drivers are a superstitious bunch, and we told you at the beginning of the day that Denny Hamlin wasn't feeling well when in the infield care center and had IV fluids. And folks, because after IV fluids for about an hour, he has led 5 times for 130 laps. I'll bet you tomorrow morning they'll be lined up for IV fluids before that cup race.
That's a great point, Doc.
You take a look at the 88 car here, Brad Keselowski and Reed Sorensen. And that last time by, Sorensen had the fastest car in the field. His lap time was better than anybody. That last time and the time before also. So Sorensen's not out of this thing right now. Hey, guys, one more caution. They all might be back in.
You're not kidding about that. These 2 guys are real racy, and you throw in a little sprinkle of that 60 car coming right behind them. It's going to be interesting for the next 7 laps.
Keselowski, the highest running, bestest rookie contender right now, trying to get his career best finish, but that 60 car is on the move. He is just chomping at the bit, trying to inhale this battle, and Reed Sorensen knows that Edwards is coming in the final 6.5 laps.
Yeah, but look at that 41 is eating up the bumper of Brad Keselowski. Keselowski ducks it down low underneath. It's a drag race down the front straightaway.
Gave him a little bit of a wiggle there. Sorensen, Keselowski, and Edwards are all running about the same speed. Goal up and under mover there by Brad Keselowski, but I just don't think he has enough to keep up with Reed Sorensen. Reed's moving on.
Well, Reed's got a good car right now, guys. But plus, Keselowski's car's damaged on the right front fender. It's pretty good, but it's not as good as it was when he started the race.
And Rusty, he just needs to maintain. Brad's going to get a great finish today. He's done a super job. He's got a dinged up race car, but he's going to get a solid top 10 finish if he's just smart for the rest of the race. 5
laps to go. Now, folks, again, Denny Hamlin was feeling ill. He was so weak he leaned against the car before he even put his fire suit on to climb in. Talked to his crew chief. They were going to have future teammate Kyle Busch drive the car. Denny said, no, it's my car. I want to drive it. And what a job he has done. But obviously, he has been in that race car for some 2.5 hours now and still has 4 laps to try to hang on.
Yeah, Jerry, a lot longer than he ever anticipated he'd be in the car. And right now, the top 3 runners in today's race are NASCAR Nextel Cup Chase contenders. Very talented drivers covered at top 3 positions right now.
Yeah. Boy, Denny Hamlin is absolutely hauling the heat. He is gone.
Yeah, that last time by a 24.66. That's about, no, that's a 10th and a half faster than anybody in the field right now. So Denny must have heard how I said Reed Sorensen was the fastest. He said, hey, Cat, watch this.
Look at this. Check this out.
Yeah, why don't you watch stopwatch up and check this lap.
Denny Hamlin, what a performance, what an ability, what an athlete to be able to suck it up when you don't feel well. And you mentioned it, Brad Daugherty. You've seen it time and again in the NBA. Michael Jordan ill and scored how many points on you?
69.
Okay, just want to make sure you didn't forget.
Unbelievable.
Denny Hamlin somehow in this race car has led 136 laps and finds himself 2 laps away from the checkered flag. Hamlin, an incredible effort.
White flag, 1 to go, still inside.
26-year-old driver coming down for his 3rd win of 2007. It'll be his 5th NASCAR Busch Series victory in 88 career starts. What an incredible effort for Denny Hamlin here at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware.
Awesome job, Denny. Awesome car, Dave. Not going to be denied, man. Way to go, Dave. Wow. Jeez. Man, it's just incredible, man. You guys did such a great job.
Dave is Dave Rogers, the crew chief. You see Martin Truex pulling up and waving, giving him a high five on a great effort. And when they talk to the driver, normally he screams and yells right back, Rusty. There was just not enough energy, I don't think, in Denny Hamlin to be able to do that.
No, he just says, I'm glad this is over.
Let's go down to Mike.
And a big celebration already on hand here with the 20 team catching up with Dave Rogers. Dave, how close were you guys to replacing your driver today?
Not very close. You know, Kyle was gracious enough to come down and hang out with us in case Denny got sick. You know, big picture racing, we want Denny to win that Cup championship. So we didn't want to wear Denny out today. But he told me when he strapped in, I'm running all 200 laps. So.
And he ran him pretty hard too, Doc. Comes to victory lane for the 3rd time this season.
Enough energy and enough adrenaline to do donuts down there and celebrate in front of this great crowd on hand here at Dover International Speedway for the NASCAR Busch Series event. Denny Hamlin picks up his 3rd win of the year with an incredible effort here at Dover, Delaware. Now, for those of you looking for the Kentucky and Arkansas game, that game is right now on ESPN Classic. Now, currently there is no score yet there in Arkansas. Arkansas has the ball. Mark Jones and Bob Davies will have the call. We will move to that game at Arkansas over here on ESPN2 as soon as we wrap things up here in the NASCAR Busch Series race at Dover, Delaware. Let's go down to Jamie, who's caught up with our 2nd place finisher.
The local boys, we've been talking about Martin Truex Jr. holding off Denny Hamlin. How did you hold him off for so long when he clearly had one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest?
I don't know. We just moved up the track and pinched him down a little bit. We just were tight all day. We couldn't run with them guys on fresh tires. The longer we ran, the closer we got to being able to run with them. So we knew that was our only shot. Just wish some of them guys behind us could have held Denny up a little bit longer. But it was a lot of fun today. Like I said, our car was off all day, but we did good for what we had and had a lot of fun.
Martin Truex Jr.'s best finish of the year in the Busch Series, second. Let's go to Shannon.
All right, well, I spoke with Matt Kenseth before the race. You said this car was terrible. Just bluffing, or did you guys find something in the race?
It really wasn't that good. I mean, we did a good job in the pits. We had good pit strategy. You know, got the thing up front, but I was pretty unhappy with it all day. So, but I do need to thank PK and Carl and all them guys, and Greg and Jamie. We kind of looked at all their stuff. We were running so bad yesterday, and Drew and these guys did a great job. They changed every spring and shock and sway bar and everything out this morning without even any practice, and it was definitely a lot better than we were yesterday.
All right, Matt Kenseth walks away with a third-place finish. This is his 8th top 10 here at Dover.
Celebration ongoing in victory lane.
Just stay with us here, Shifty, because if he won.
Denny Hamlin trying to get enough energy to climb out of that car. Again, college football over on ESPN Classic right now as Denny tries to get out of the car. Take a look at our Crown Royal crowning moment of the race. It was when Dave Rogers called the 20 car on the pit road. Late in the event, he called the 20 in for fresh tires, and the 8 car of Truex, the 17 of Kenseth, and others stayed out. It was a roll of the dice and a gamble, but it was a crowning moment that ended up putting that 20 car in victory lane here today.
4 tires are your best friend if you can get them on there.
And he got some fluids and will try to get out of the car, and they celebrate down there. What an incredible effort. You'll tell me these guys are not athletes. Let's go down today.
And Doc, as you mentioned, even as the leap off the edge there, medical was called down here in case Denny needed it. He said he didn't at this point. But let me ask you, D, are you ready for a big night of celebration here? You want to go lay down for a while? How you feeling?
I need a nap. Wow, this whole Rockwell Automation car was great all day, and just can't thank Dave and the whole crew enough for doing, give me this great race car. I mean, I hated to stay in it and, you know, maybe risk tomorrow, but I don't think I did. I feel, you know, when a car runs good, you feel better. So, yeah, I definitely think that this is a step in the right direction for us.
We had some long cautions. At any time, did you think about taking the time to put Kyle in the car?
Well, if I was going to have to do it, I was going to have to do it early, but I felt a lot better early than I did late. But you know, still, when the car handles that well, you're able to find something down in you that normally you can't find. But this whole Rockwell Automation Chevrolet was good all day. Dave did a great job adjusting on it. Just got to thank everyone from Rockwell for supporting this team, and we're going to have some more wins for this year's over.
Well, and think where they were last year, guys. Last year, this team was not doing that well. They were having trouble with their race cars. They were not winning races. This year, 3 on the books, plus the win at Milwaukee. This 20 team has it together, guys.
Incredible effort. After 20 on events, take a look at the NASCAR Busch Series point standings. Once again, congratulations to our race winner, Denny Hamlin, who sucked it up and picked up his 3rd win of the year. Coming up next, college football. Key Southeastern Conference matchup, Kentucky at Arkansas. Don't forget to join me tomorrow and the rest of our ESPN crew live coverage on ABC 1 o'clock Eastern Time, race number 2 in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. Coming up, number 23 Kentucky at Arkansas as we head out to Arkansas and Mark Jones for the call.